St. Louis County Animal Care and Control is way over capacity. I'm Maria Aquino with how you can make a difference in a dog's life.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I would like to provide clarification and context.
There's a response to the St. Louis County Animal Care and Control situation. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Sean Malone. How much did the St. Louis City Sheriff's Department overspend this past fiscal year? I've got that story coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Plenty of sunshine today and becoming breezy with a high of 65.
We'll look at the future of the Cardinals, plus what Mizzou and Illinois have in store for Saturday. And the Blues dropped one in overtime last night.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Eggland's Best.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Vice President J.D. Vance and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu stood side by side in Jerusalem today and spoke about the fragile ceasefire in Gaza. Here's Vance.
We have a very, very tough task ahead of us, which is to disarm Hamas, but rebuild Gaza to make life better for the people in Gaza, but also to ensure that Hamas is no longer a threat to our friends in Israel. That's not easy. I think the Prime Minister knows that as well as anybody, but it's something that we're committed to in the Trump administration.
Last night, Vance visited a new facility in southern Israel where about 200 American troops are helping to monitor the ceasefire. Israel Hamas returned the bodies of two more hostages last night. President Trump's pick to head the Office of Special Counsel is bowing out after allegations of racist text messages.
Paul Ingracia says he will not appear at his Senate nomination hearing tomorrow because he doesn't have enough Republican votes. He lost some of them after Politico published text messages from the past year in which Ingracia said he has a Nazi streak from time to time, and he called Martin Luther King Jr. the 1960s George Floyd. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer blasted the White House's vetting process.
When you think it can't get any worse from Donald Trump in the White House, it does.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
New Yorkers took to city streets en masse after masked ICE agents showed up in Chinatown. ICE out now! ICE out now! Federal agents rounded up street vendors suspected of selling counterfeit designer items. CBS News New York's Christina Fan with reaction from Homeland Security.
In a statement, a spokesperson condemned rioters who were, quote, shouting obscenities, became violent, and obstructed law enforcement duties. In a startling move, military-style trucks were brought in. Local leaders and immigration advocates immediately gathered to condemn the agency's actions.
None of this is about public safety. It is about fear and chaos.
In L.A., a U.S. Marshal and a driver accused of being in the U.S. illegally were shot and wounded by an ICE agent during a traffic stop. The government shut down now in its 22nd day, and food banks can't keep up. Pastor Oliver Carter's wife is a furloughed federal employee.
We got a check last week, a half a check, and this week is no check coming, so we should be in line too.
He helps run a food bank in Maryland. Track your daily steps. You may not need as many as you think. CBS's Michael George.
A Mass General Brigham study found older women who took 4,000 steps just once or twice a week had a 27% lower risk for cardiovascular disease and a 26% lower risk of death. Notably, the health benefits were linked to how many steps were taken, rather than how many days a person was active.
This is CBS News.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
It is 6:03, and right now we've got clear skies, 44 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. That is the sound of the dangerously overcrowded St. Louis County Animal Care and Control. Nearly 200 dogs. Capacity is 80.
Volunteers tell KMOX Animal Care and Control is making progress in improving its image following the deadly outbreak of parvo this summer, and prior to that, the many years of inhumane treatment of animals. County Executive Dr. Sam Page says, with the overcrowding, there is no place to segregate new rescues, increasing the risk of widespread illness. He requested more funding from the council. They have not approved it, but they did unanimously vote to override Page's veto of doubling adoption fees.
Not being able to adopt them results in longer stays and more expenses, more behavior problems, and the inability to place them in a happy home.
It costs $640 per month per animal. The average stay at HCC, 32 days. That means with the current population, that adds up to around $111,000 per month. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
There are currently 33 dogs who have been at County ACC for over a month.
After several meetings with the representatives from DPH and Dr. Cunningham, not once did they say there was an issue with raising the fees.
I'm Michael Calhoun with County Council Reaction. Chairwoman Rita Hurd Days.
It costs approximately $20 per day to care for each animal, with an average stay of 32 days, totaling around $648 per animal. Even with the revised adoption fee of $80, the cost remains significantly below the actual expense for care.
Days says the county is facing an overall budget deficit, and she notes that the $80 adoption fees are still lower than the $120 to $180 charged by comparable shelters.
A city audit found the St. Louis Sheriff's Department overspent by more than $812,000 because they don't have a proper system for tracking money or payroll. We get more from KMOX's Sean Malone.
In response to all the suggestions made by the Comptroller's office, the Sheriff's Department said they will implement them beginning next fiscal year in July of 2026. The Comptroller's response in the report criticized the lengthy timeline to implement these changes, saying immediate action should be undertaken now, not in 2026, and the department's operations remain at a high risk until corrective measures are in place. In a statement, Comptroller Donna Barringer says the audit will ensure taxpayer dollars are used responsibly, regardless of leadership changes.
Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe addressing the Northside battery plant that ran out of juice after a federal grant was canceled. The company behind it, ICL, is an international heavyweight and has had a long-standing presence in Carondelet. Kehoe tells our partners at Fox 2.
As a business person that's been involved in multiple conversations like this over the many years I've been in small business, there's two sides to the story.
The $547 million project would have brought 150 jobs to the north side. Kehoe says there's an economic development argument he'll make for the feds. There might be a national security one, too, since it would have been the only plant in the U.S. to make the specific lithium battery ingredient.
St. Louis County is still debating those RAM settlement dollars.
Civic Progress stole $80 million from the people of St. Louis County of the Rams settlement. Not the mayor. No, the shadow government stole that money.
That is Ed Golterman speaking at public comment, still smarting that the city's split of the settlement was larger than the county's. Larry Rice spoke out against an item he saw as a potential spend of the settlement cash.
If we could come up with $20 million for a dog shelter, why can't we have a walk-in shelter for the homeless?
The county council has asked for an update on how much Rams cash is left after the 2022 deposit of $169 million and spending on cybersecurity, police, street repaving, and items passed or under consideration this year. There's about $72 million left. County Executive Page wants to spend $59 million of that on the structural budget deficit.
The Business Desk is sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. The founder of Meds and Foods for Kids, Dr. Pat Wolf, has received the Top Agri-Food Pioneer Award from the World Food Prize Foundation. The prize was awarded in Des Moines. Wolf is also participating on a panel about how localized development solutions can feed more of the world's children. Wolf's company, MFK, has treated more than 1 million malnourished children and pregnant and nursing mothers with ready-to-use therapeutic and supplemental foods made with peanuts. She now has a production facility in Haiti that employs a number of Haitians.
We're going to take a look at traffic and weather. We can tell we're hurtling into fall and winter because it's still dark out and it's getting dark earlier and earlier, but it's also a little chilly. So all of that and more coming your way next on Total Information AM.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll help protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Drury Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 610, Roger Brand. What's the latest? Few issues out there. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, right now it looks like they have the eastbound lanes of Highway 64 shut down at this crash that happened westbound. It was a semi-westbound that struck the median wall, pushed that wall partially into the eastbound lanes, right around the Spirit of St. Louis Boulevard overpass. So east of the Boone Bridge, westbound traffic is getting through, but eastbound is currently shut down. So what you'll have to do is get off at Chesterfield Airport Road there just as you come off the Boone Bridge and take that east to Boone's Crossing or to the Spirit of St. Louis Boulevard and re-enter eastbound 64. So there's a jam back to the bridge eastbound and westbound. There's just a little slowdown in the area. Still a little slowdown westbound 64, west of Lake St. Louis Boulevard through Prospect. Westbound 70 is back to normal, Wentzville to David Hochul Parkways, but eastbound 70 is still slow. East of Warrenton, midway into the Wright City rest area, and then through Wright City proper. And northbound 55, a slowdown at 67 and a backup approaching Z. I can't see a problem there, but it is a little bit of a congestion there on 55 at this time. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Bright sunshine today and becoming breezy but cool, high 65. Clear, chilly tonight. Will slip to 36 in some of the coldest suburbs to about 42 downtown at the Arch. Bright sunshine tomorrow, another cool day, high 63. Clouds increase Friday. There could be a shower toward evening, the high 61. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Right now, we've got clear skies, 44 degrees. That weather sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Today, the St. Louis City Jail will be holding a hiring event for the first time ever. Commissioner Nate Hayward shares they have a lot of correctional officer positions to fill.
Correction Officer 2, I believe we have about 12 positions for that. And then the correction officer, I believe we have a total of 40.
He adds that they held these events regularly when he was operating the jail in St. Louis County and anticipates doing the same in the city. Qualified applicants could receive a conditional job offer on site.
The president of the St. Louis School Board says a disgruntled former school board member has a right to his opinions.
I do want to remind everyone that anytime they want to be able to determine what the board was doing, we just need to watch some of the school board meetings.
Dr. Karen Collins Adams says she also respects Ben Conover's decision to leave the board. Conover was appointed to the school board early in the year, but resigned Monday on the heels of the board firing the superintendent, Millicent Borshati. Conover fired some parting shots, reportedly saying the current board leadership is duplicitous and reckless.
Car thieves are hitting close to home for some public officials. In Belleville, State Senator Erica Harris shared a story about her own neighborhood, which she says shows how widespread the problem has become.
I rolled down my window and he said, both of my cars were stolen last night. So these are things that are happening
in our local communities right here.
State Senator Chris Belt described the emotional and practical damage vehicle theft does to its victims.
No one wants to wake up, go outside, and see their vehicle gone. No one wants to wake up and see a big hole in their windshield because your vehicle was vandalized. It demoralizes you, right?
Secretary of State Alexi Janulius revealed he was carjacked in high school nearly 30 years ago, calling it a scarring moment he thinks about almost every day. All of this comes as his office announces more than $11 million in grants for law enforcement, including the Metro East Auto Theft Task Force. The money will help buy technology like license plate readers.
A new study in the journal Pediatrics finds the number of allergy cases in kids has dropped sharply since experts began recommending parents slowly introduce their infants to peanuts.
Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel says this 10-year-old study turned previous advice on its head.
A huge study called LEAP, Learn Early About Peanut Allergies, came out a decade ago and showed that if you had eczema, people who have seasonal allergies or eczema are more prone to peanut allergies, little children. If you give them peanuts between 1 and 3 years old, you know what happens? Their rate of peanut allergies goes down by 80%, and it lasts until adulthood.
This study finds eggs have overtaken peanuts now as the number one food allergen in children under 3. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
I'm Tom Ackerman, and it is time to talk some baseball. Bernie Miklasz on the Gas House Gang, always with some good thoughts about the Cardinals, especially when you watch the Toronto Blue Jays, who beat out the Seattle Mariners, two really good up-and-coming teams, and the Blue Jays make it to the World Series to take on the mighty Dodgers.
Their run to Game 7 of the championship series. And watching them all season, they committed to building a core rotation of really young, talented arms, and they stuck with it. And that's exactly what they have, and it takes them a long way. And I want to point out that one of the first people that the Cardinals hired when Chaim Bloom hired Rob Cerfolio, he then hired Matt Pierpont as the Cardinals' new director of pitching. And Matt Pierpont was a guy who was central to the development of all of that really outstanding young starting pitching in Seattle. So the Cardinals already have learned, and they are going to try to follow the Seattle model. And that's a wonderful sign. And if you can permit me to something, I wrote about it late yesterday afternoon. When the Cardinals were really, really great, and they were at their best in terms of young starting pitching from 2009 through 2022, right? Over that time, they were third in regular season winning percentage, fifth in postseason wins. Got to the playoffs 10 times. Over that time, they had the third best starting pitching ERA in the majors for 14 years. And they were second in quality starts and all these other stats. They had a great starting staff for 14 years. I did the research on this. 61% of the games started over those 14 years were by pitchers that made their major league debut for the Cardinals. They were drafted, developed by the Cardinals, signed by the Cardinals as like an international free agent like Carlos Martinez, or the Cardinals acquired them when they were very, very young from other organizations like Adam Wainwright. But all 30, I think it's 32 of those young pitchers that they developed on their own, every single one of them made their major league debut as Cardinals. 61% of the starts made over 14 years. Now, if that doesn't convince Cardinals fans and everybody else that this is the way to go, instead of having to go out every winter and scramble to put together a mediocre starting rotation, I don't know what to tell people who would say, well, I don't think that's the way to go.
It's time to get back to where they used to be, according to Miklasz and many others who want to see the Cardinals be built back into a power. The World Series gets going on Friday night in Toronto as the Blue Jays host the Dodgers. On Saturday, Mizzou at Vanderbilt. College Game Day will be there in Nashville for that clash between the 15th-ranked Tigers and the 10th-ranked Commodores. Vanderbilt is currently a 2.5-point favorite. The spread is 5 for Illinois and Washington. The 23rd-ranked Illini visit unranked Washington coming up. That'll be at the same time, 2:30 kickoff on Saturday. The Blues lost last night in overtime to the LA Kings. 2-1 was the final. John Kelly was honored during that game. We'll hear about that at 6:45 on the Voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hi, Stacy with Fairwinds River's Edge Senior Living in St. Charles. Are you a senior seeking a fun retirement? Do you want less work and more play? Do you want to enjoy great food that you don't have to cook? Then I know. Stop what you're doing right now and call Fairwinds. Set up a time to visit and have a meal. Meet some of our awesome residents. Check us out online at fairwindsriversedge.com. We hope to talk with you soon.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
Let's get back to this Overhead Door Company of St. Louis sweepstakes that goes until the end of October. We're talking about next Friday, so we need to get on this. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original. It is your opportunity, especially if you need a new garage door. This could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Yes, $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of your choice. A winner will be chosen at random. The deadline to enter is the end of this month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. How do you enter? I'm glad you asked. It's very easy. You just go to overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You put in just a little bit of information and you are in. No purchase necessary. Can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. The $5,000 sweepstakes. And what a partner they are. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the ones with the red ribbon, the genuine, the original.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:21. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, better news in the Chesterfield Valley on 64 now, Debbie. This traffic reports the Service of Financial and Tax Strategies. I mentioned last time up that eastbound 64 was completely closed temporarily. They were, I think, resetting that median wall that got knocked out of whack by the westbound semi-crash. So all lanes are back open eastbound 64. So no longer any eastbound backup there. There's just there's a slowdown approaching the Boone Bridge, but it'll probably thin out pretty quickly. Now, westbound 64, left lane still closed there. So westbound 64 from the Spirit overpass out through the Boone Bridge, that's still kind of slow. And roadwork delays westbound west of Lake St. Louis Boulevard out to Prospect after that. Southbound 61 a little busy at Wentzville Parkway. Eastbound 70 has still got that slowdown. 47 midway into the Wright City Rest area, and then the jam through Wright City proper, bumper to bumper on eastbound 70 at this time. Northbound 55 slow at 67. Then there's backed up traffic south of McNutt up through Highway Z. We had an incident just north of Highway Z. I couldn't tell what it was because it was dark out, but lane restrictions there. And then it's backed up again from just north of the Union Road overpass all the way up to about Loughborough. It looks like we have a crash just north of River de Pere. Slow down eastbound 64 past Greenmount. That's due to roadwork on the Illinois side. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Sunny and breezy today, high 65. Clear and chilly tonight, low 40. Tomorrow, sunny but cool, high 63. It's 45 right now.
It's a problem at many shelters. Too many animals in overcrowded conditions, but not enough people to foster or adopt.
St. Louis County Executive Dr. Sam Page made a plea to help make a dog's life better. He talked about the many reasons dogs end up in shelters like County Animal Care and Control.
Animals that don't have a home because their pet owner has passed away and they've been surrendered. Sometimes a family moves to a different apartment and that new apartment doesn't allow them to keep a dog. Some dogs are turned into us because their owners can no longer afford to take care of them because they've lost a job or they've had an increase in their rent or no longer have the finances to do that.
Another reason for the pet overpopulation, not having pets spayed or neutered. regardless of how they end up at shelters. It is not the ideal life. Like this past summer, there was a deadly parvovirus outbreak at County ACC, and the shelter simply does not have enough space now to isolate the new rescues that come in from the rest of the pet population. Page has asked the council for more funding to expand ACC, but they have not made a decision yet. Last week, the council did think it was a good idea, though, to double adoption fees. Page vetoed it, and the council overrode his vote. Page is also pushing to have more free adoption events around the area. The ACC shelter is under new leadership, Malik Johnson. And according to several volunteers that KMOX spoke with, they have made great improvements since the summer. Dr. Kanika Cunningham is the county public health director and still oversees ACC.
We see this as a public health issue and potentially a public health crisis. The research shows that fee waive adoption events does not lead to animals going to abusive homes. It does not lead to dogs being used in dogfighting operations, and it does not mean an individual cannot provide quality care for their loving animal. Animal welfare is something our community care deeply about, and so do we. But with that comes the responsibility. Shelters are not a place for long-term care. It is our responsibility to provide the 5 freedoms for animal welfare, which are freedom from hunger and thirst, freedom from discomfort, freedom from pain, injury, and disease, freedom to express normal behavior, and freedom from fear and distress. Meeting the mental and physical needs of the care of our animals is a top priority for the health department, but we cannot do that with barriers in place. With this responsibility also comes a cost. Running an effective, humane shelter that gives every animal the best chance at an adoption takes people, time, and significant resources. For example, to keep a dog in our care, it costs $20 per day. The average stay in our shelter is 32 days. That means one dog costs us roughly $640 per month to care for. With about 174 dogs currently in our care, that adds up to nearly $111,000 per month to provide food, medicine, and staff time. When that number increases above 200, that's more than $128,000 per month.
Right now at County Animal Care and Control, there are 33 dogs who have been at the shelter longer than 30 days. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
With the representatives from DPH and Dr. Cunningham, not once did they say there was an issue with raising the fees.
I'm Michael Calhoun with County Council reaction to what the county executive's been saying about animal care and control. Council Chairwoman Rita Days.
It costs approximately $20 per day to care for each animal, with an average stay of 32 days, totaling around $640 per animal. Even with the revised adoption fee of $80, the cost remains significantly below the actual expense for care.
And she also notes,
we are also facing a $66 million deficit in our budget. We don't have money to give away.
She says the new $80 adoption fees are still lower than the $120 to $180 charged by comparable shelters and still don't cover the complete costs.
The decision to adjust the adoption fees was based on the growing operational costs required to provide adequate care, food, medical treatment, and facility maintenance for the animals in our care. The recent adjustments to adoption fees and shelter policies were made to ensure financial sustainability and continued high-quality care for animals.
Day says the Department of Health's legal assistant was the one that insisted it had been too long since the fees had been raised. She also responds to the request for more free adoption holidays.
Under the current policy, we have implemented 2 free adoption events per year with an additional emergency clause that allows flexibility when necessary.
And also claims that population numbers could be inflated.
I would suggest that the department encourages staff to develop a dashboard so that we can all see what the daily census of. It ebbs and ties, so it's not all 173 dogs per day.
That overcrowding is what led the department to ask for dollars for an expansion of the facility, but Day says the existing operations aren't up to standards, don't reflect best practices, and wants them to focus on improvement before expansion. She suggests more qualified staffing. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It is now 6:28. That time check is sponsored for you by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on.
And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Let the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra take you on a journey through the Nordic countryside at Prokofiev and Sibelius from Dark to Light on October 24th and 25th. The SLSO performs Sibelius's sweeping Second Symphony, and renowned violinist Augustin Hadovich joins to dazzle on Prokofiev's Second Violin Concerto. Led by rising star conductor Tabitha Berglund, performances take place at the newly reopened Powell Hall October 24th and 25th. Tickets at slso.org.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Clear sky, 45 degrees downtown at the Arch at 6:30. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we have heavy traffic on Highway 55 northbound if you're coming into work in a couple of spots. First of all, we have a backup. They cleared the incident we had at Z, but we're backed up from A up through McNutt now, bumper to bumper, northbound 55. The right lanes are slow, Butler Hill to 270. And then we have a crash. I can't see what lane's blocked, but it's before you get to Loughborough, just across the river to Paris. So traffic's a solid jam back just north of Rivas Barracks on northbound 55. And again, that's another solid jam up to that point. Northbound 270, a couple of slow spots through Gravois, north of Big Bend to Manchester, Clayton Road up to 64. They're slow. Southbound 61 bogged down north of Highway P, almost midway between W and P down to 64. But once you get there, 64 eastbound and eastbound 70 both look great. 64 at the Boone Bridge, no longer any slowdowns there from that earlier crash. Eastbound 70, still a little slow. Warrenton midway into the Wright City rest area and approaching Wright City. But again, it looks better than it did earlier. And on the Illinois side, eastbound 64, slower traffic now approaching Greenmount most of the way into 158. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast, AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says plenty of sunshine, breezy today, high 65, clear and chilly tonight, low 40. Tomorrow, sunny and cool, high 63. It's 45 downtown right now.
North St. Louis tornado victims now have a central location to get the help they need.
The May tornado went right over the Urban League building on Natural Bridge Avenue, and that's where the new Resource and Outreach Center is now located. Mayor Kara Spencer says this is for those that need debris pickup or an application to demo their homes that can't be fixed up.
This center is an incredibly important part of making sure that we are providing access to the resources that will help our community heal.
St. Louis's Chief Recovery Officer, Julia Nick, says the city has been pushing money around to make it all happen.
What we're doing is we're taking resources from any eligible fund, whether it be federal, city, or state that we can, and trying to jointly funnel them into the programs that make sense.
Even with the government shutdown, Nick says FEMA is still taking his calls. For now, Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
SNAP benefits could expire next month if the government shutdown continues. How could that impact people who aren't on food stamps?
Behind me, Whole Foods is handing out food to hundreds of families in North City today in a pre-planned event with the looming expiration of SNAP benefits next month if the government shutdown continues. I spoke with Kristen Wild with Operation Food Search, who says there is an economic impact to SNAP benefits expiring for an extended period of time.
It's going to impact grocery stores who are going to have a financial hit when individuals can no longer spend SNAP benefits.
Wild says people not on food stamps may begin to see the fallout of SNAP expiring when their neighbors, coworkers, and classmates of their children begin to go hungry. In North City, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Attorneys for the jailed St. Louis sheriff are pushing back on the burner phone allegation that helped land their client behind bars. The Post-Dispatch reports in an appeal filed Tuesday, Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's lawyers claim prosecutors wrongfully focused on the secret phone and presented no real evidence about where it came from. They argue the judge had no basis to jail the sheriff and are asking the federal judge on the case to either release him or hold a new hearing to reconsider that evidence.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:34, your Money Minute next.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Window specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
We've been here 30 years. 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
It is 6:36. This is Total Information AM. Somebody may be coming in to rescue Six Flags, and it's a famous face. I'll tell you more about that coming up. But first, let's get you updated on your money report, which is sponsored for you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Warner Brothers Discovery is a hot commodity and considering a possible sale of the company after receiving unsolicited interest from multiple parties. It's also looking at some options, including a split, sale, or separate deals for its studios and streaming. Netflix and Comcast are said to be weighing bids, and Paramount Skydance already made an offer, but that was rejected for being too low. Apple's new foldable iPad has run into some snags. The company's been working on the device for several years and aimed for a 2028 release. But sources tell Bloomberg engineers are struggling with its display, tech, and weight. Apple's now looking at 2029 or later. OpenAI just unveiled its first artificial intelligence-powered web browser called ChatGPT Atlas. It's designed to be a more personalized web experience with features that allow users to engage with web content and help with tasks like booking flights and editing documents. Atlas will be available globally on Macs to start. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
The NBA season started last night, and it is time for you to pick up with Underdog and have the best place to get in on all the action. What a good time it is. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, basketball's back. You can make entries and win money right now in Missouri, right now on Underdog. Playing it is easy. You just download the Underdog app. You choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats, and you get your entries right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Yes, I said 5,000 times your cash. It's very easy to play. Download the app today. Use promo code TOM, and you'll score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TOM. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com. or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
It is 6:40. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman. And Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center with the latest on your ride in.
Well, Debbie, we've had our second interstate shutdown of the morning. This traffic reports the service of the Drug Enforcement Administration. This time it's northbound 55. I mentioned that crash, northbound 55 between River de Pere and Loughborough. They temporarily have all lanes shut down. Again, it's in the construction zone. Traffic is at a standstill back at Arrivas Barracks. Now, northbound 55 is also bogged down about a half to 3/4 of a mile south of 67. Stop and go pockets all the way up to McNutt from earlier troubles. And then south of Butler Hill up to 270 is pretty busy, primarily in the right lanes there. Northbound 270 from 55 up to 44, north of 44 to Manchester. Clayton Road up to Ladue, that's all heavy. South 270 south of Olive down to Ladue, that's slow. Eastbound 70 Warrenton midway into the Wright City rest area, still heavy, not as bad through Wright City. Southbound 61 north of P down to 64 at Lake St. Louis Boulevard is slow. Westbound 64 a little busy approaching the Poplar. Northbound Route 3, Judith up to Monsanto, looks like a train crossing there. And eastbound 64, pockets east of 50 past Greenmount. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
DEA's National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. Learn more at DEATakeback.com.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, October 25th. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Fall is here. Looks like it is here to stay.
It is indeed 80-degree warmth that looks like it's in our rearview mirror, and it's going to be hard to find 70. Certainly in the next 5 days, it's not going to be anywhere close to that. Today, bright and sunny. The breeze is going to pick up, but it is going to be a cool day. Our high only 65. That'll lead into a clear, crisp night tonight. Low 40s downtown at the Arch, probably mid to upper 30s in most suburbs. Tomorrow, another sunny day, beautiful day, but on the cool side with a high of 63. Clouds will come in from the west and southwest on Friday, and there could be a shower towards sunset, the high 61. I think the better chance for any showers will be Friday night into Saturday. Saturday will be cloudy with a high of 58. Even on Sunday, I can't rule out a shower. Mostly cloudy skies, the high about 64. Right now, it's 46 in St. Peters and in Florissant. It is 49 and clear downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's now 6:43, and Six Flags gets a new investor who says, make the parks better and more people will come. KMOX's Michael Calhoun has more.
Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs and private equity firm Jana Partners are coming together, taking about a 9% stake in Six Flags Entertainment, and their push is to really improve the guest experience. Kelce says he's a lifelong Six Flags fan, grew up going to these parks with family and friends. The chance to help make Six Flags special for the next generation is one that I couldn't pass up. Of course, there's been some concern about the St. Louis park after Six Flags announced that it may do some trimming of its portfolio just because the St. Louis park is not in that upper echelon of draws for the company, but it is reported to be profitable for Six Flags. Six Flags has hit this rough patch after the merger with other big amusement park operator Cedar Fair.
Well, maybe he can get Taylor to play on that stage at Six Flags St. Louis. Maybe
that might be a slight draw.
Yeah, just a couple tunes, you know, just a surprise appearance or something like that. Or maybe
we could mayhem.
Maybe we could have this individual for the first time in 55 years. An American has won the top prize at the World's Piano Olympics. CBS's Deborah Rodriguez has details.
27-year-old Eric Liu of Massachusetts has come in first at the International Chopin Piano Competition in Warsaw. He beat out 181 other performers, most from China, Japan, and South Korea. The U.S. had just 7. Each finalist performed one of Chopin's 2 piano concertos and the Polonaise Fantasy. Eric Liu rose to fame after placing 4th in the same competition when he was only 17. He says he's grateful for his new honor, which carries a $69,000 prize and a gold medal. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Judges sit through 100 hours of Chopin over 2 weeks of auditions.
Wow, I don't even know how you'd begin to judge that after
they all sound amazing.
Listening to that much Chopin.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. 6:45. Last night, Enterprise Center in downtown St. Louis, a tribute to John Kelly.
Can he win it? They do! Schwartz on a 3-0! Now I've seen it all! Bozak in front, they score! Schwartz tipped it in! I do not believe it! This is crazy! Yes! Shen is in the clear, and a breakaway! He scores!
John Kelly, a video tribute to him and a loud crowd response as the Blues took on the LA Kings. Kelly was let go this past summer as the television voice of the Blues, and he picked up a job on FanDuel Sports Network with the Kings, and Blues fans honored him with an ovation last night. It was Kelly who got the final call in his favor as the voice of the Kings. Take a listen.
And then Kempe, they cross. Seam pass, Kempe shoots, and he scores! Kempe wins it! Kings in overtime. Goodbye, good night, game over.
And it was the one-timer they were looking for. It took a while to set up, didn't it? But how much Kempe gets on this shot?
Adrian Kempe, the big right winger for the Kings, he gets the game-winning goal, and the Blues lose it 2-1 to the Kings in overtime, and off he goes. John Kelly will spend a little more time this week in St. Louis as the Kings have a bit of time off. They don't play again. Well, they do play in Dallas on Thursday night, but not today. He won't be back until January 24th in the play-by-play role with the Kings. That's the next time LA visits Enterprise Center. This weekend, football, Mizzou takes on Vanderbilt in Nashville. College Game Day from ESPN will be there, 2:30 kickoff after their 9 a.m. show. This is the first time since 2014 that Mizzou has been featured on College Game Day. They haven't hosted it since 2010 when number 1 Oklahoma came to Columbia. Eli Drinkowitz says they won't be paying attention to us anyway. You'll hear those comments coming up at 7:15. Illinois ranked 23rd in the country now, back in the top 25. They visit Washington on Saturday at the same time, 2:30. And the night before that, Friday night, It's game one of the World Series. Toronto hosting the LA Dodgers. We'll get some thoughts on that from Bernie Miklas coming up at 7:15 as well. SLU basketball last night on the women's side, victorious 63-56 in an exhibition game with SIUE. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Billikens and the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Are you an HR manager, business owner, or leader looking to retain your best people? Nearly 1 in 4 employees is caring for an aging loved one, a challenge that often leads to distraction, absenteeism, and costly turnover. The CARES program from Age Smart Community Resources connects your employees to expert caregiver support, helping them stay focused and productive at work. Discover how CARES can boost retention, improve ROI, and cut costs for your business. Visit hsmart.org or call 618-222-2561. Proudly serving 7 counties in Southwest Illinois.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefit Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:50, time for a check of traffic and weather on this Wednesday morning. It's a little chilly out there. Roger Brand has the latest for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the better news on 55 now, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Amon, Gantner, Capriano. They're letting traffic through at River de Pere. The right lane is open now. Northbound 55, though, still is a backup down south from south of 67. It's bumper to bumper up to McNutt. There's some slow traffic in the right lanes, Butler Hill, Madison. Then all lanes jam at about Green Park, so midway between Lindbergh and Rivas up to River de Pere. Again, only the right lane is open through there. North 270 slowed down. North of 55 through Gravois, Big Bend up to Manchester, Clayton Road up to Ladue, South 270 approaching Olive to Ladue is busy. Southbound 61 Highway P down to 64 at the Boulevard. That's heavy. There's still a slowdown eastbound 70 through Warrenton. It's a little heavy. 64 to A little busy at O'Brien Road, but other than that, not bad. For Illinois drivers, westbound just a little crowded at the Poplar, but we still have the road work. Actually, there's a crash in the work zone now, eastbound 64, just before Greenmount. Traffic's jammed back through 50 at that location. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Amon, Gantner, and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Hi, Margaret at Amon, Gantner, and Capriano. I was suddenly widowed at 41. We had a will. Do you? Amon, Gantner, and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
Here's that weather forecast from Joe Lundberg. It's a good one. It's going to be a nice fall day today, sunny and crisp and a little breezy, high 50, 65 as we get up to our high this afternoon. Tonight, we drop down to 36 in the coldest suburbs, 42 downtown at the Arch, but we're back up to 63 with a sunny sky tomorrow. Friday, increasing clouds, cool, a shower possible late, a high 61, says Joe, for Friday. Let's take a look at the weekend. Saturday, cloudy and cool, couple of showers, high 58. Sunday, mostly cloudy, a shower possible south and west of the city, and a high of 64. It's 45 in Florissant, 46 in St. Peter's, clear, and 45 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 5:52. A construction worker hit by a car in the Central West End Monday morning has died. 36-year-old Joe Mahoney of O'Fallon, Missouri, was blocking traffic at Kings Highway in Lindell for construction equipment to be moved onto a site. The driver did stay on the scene. Accident Reconstruction said there were no warning devices to let drivers know of a lane closure.
An inmate at the state prison in Licking, Missouri, took a staff member hostage inside an office for about 5 hours on Monday. No information has been released by officials as to why the inmate acted out. The Missouri Justice Coalition released a statement warning this could be a prelude to more serious and volatile situations due to inhumane conditions. 10 deaths have occurred this year inside the prison in Licking.
Nearly 2 million people in Illinois could lose federal food benefits in November. Capital News Illinois reports the U.S. Department of Agriculture has told states it will not distribute SNAP benefits if the federal government shutdown continues into another month. Illinois distributes $350 million in SNAP benefits each month. Those benefits are entirely funded by the federal government. Governor Pritzker said the state has limited options to replace any losses.
The longtime leader of the Landmarks Association of St. Louis is stepping down after 20 years at the helm. Andrew Weil is leaving at the end of the year and, according to the organization, is embarking on an exciting new chapter that will use his deep knowledge of architecture, preservation, and community history. Weil wrote 28 National Register nominations and helped secure funding for preservation projects, including the Landmarks Association's new Soulard headquarters.
Paris's Louvre Museum reopened today, 3 days after thieves stole crown jewels worth more than $100 million.
Bree Floyd of Florida waited in a long line to get into the Louvre today. She and her group are being extra cautious with their own safety.
Just look out for each other because you literally don't know. It happened in broad daylight.
100 investigators have joined the search for the stolen jewels and the suspects. Criminologist Elaine Bauer says the security guards union at the Louvre had warned in June they were short-staffed.
Nobody listened until something dramatic happened.
France's culture minister says the museum security system was working properly. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Birthing music is becoming more popular in the baby ward.
When it comes to giving birth, the majority of moms prefer to be serenaded by Coldplay. Baby stroller brand Eye Candy's spin through Spotify birth playlists finds Fix You is the #1 choice in delivery rooms. Ed Sheeran is second. Fleetwood Mac and the Beatles tie for third.
Here comes the sun.
Other favorites to push by,
And you can tell everybody.
Elton John, Norah Jones, John Legend, and Taylor Swift. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Studies show it's not just mothers who mellow out to music, it's unborn babies too. Classical music has been tied to healthy development before birth. I'll mention that dads like the music in the room as well. We had, for both girls when they were born, we had music going. It was nice. It's 6:55.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday. What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour.
Doc Brown from the Back to the Future movies, Christopher Lloyd right there. He is 87 today. Here's another actor.
God creates dinosaurs. God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man. Man destroys God. Man creates dinosaurs.
Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park. He is 73 today.
Local celebrity birthdays are sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, Forward and Back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Birthday and anniversary announcements can be sent to totalam@KMOX.com. totalam@KMOX.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Joanne Small here of O'Fallon, Illinois, and Kathy Edelman.
This is the best birthday ever.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Hey, Dave, this is Susan L. Ward, and my law firm and I want to wish you congratulations on your 25 years with the show. I am really, really glad that you left family law practice to me, and here's to 25 more for you on radio.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Redbirds Hall of Famer, Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, Izzy, what's going on, man? Looks kind of like you got something on your mind.
Well, Eddie boy, I'm thinking you may need to change the name of your place from Fast Eddie's to $5 Eddie's.
$5 Eddie? Man, why in the world would I call it $5 Eddie?
Well, I was in there the other day and bought myself the coldest beer I've ever had in my life, and I gave the guy $5. And then I went over and got some of those huge cold water peel and eat shrimps, and I gave her $5.
Well, I never really thought about that. There's a lot of $5 going on in there.
And then I went back up and got one of those huge Fast Eddie cheeseburgers, and I gave them $5 again.
Man, definitely has a ring to it. I think there's a lot of $5 going on.
Yeah, and I had about $100 worth of good time.
Well, that's good to hear, and it's easy to do with live music 7 days a week and a big old party going on that big, beautiful outdoor patio.
Well, like Mr. Shannon always says, if you're 21 and in the mood, head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air in Alton, Illinois, and maybe take a selfie on that old Harley Davidson of mine.
Who else has got a Cardinal Hall of Famer's Harley Davidson sitting out on the patio for some selfies?
Only Eddie boy.
Roger Brand, take us to the top. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All righty, Tom. Well, North 55 is still tough for those a couple of crashes. I can actually see the other one now. So we'll start down south in Festus. You've got about a half mile at least slow down northbound 55 approaching 67. Then it jams just north of there up to McNutt. The crash is in the left lane there at McNutt. You get past that point, then you're good to go until you get up around Butler Hill. If you're getting on the North 270, those right lanes north of Butler Hill are slow, but all lanes jam north of Lindbergh. And again, the left lane is blocked here as well, northbound 55, just north of River to Pear by a crash. So again, that's a solid standstill jam back to almost Lindbergh. North 270, like I said, delays ramping on from 55. It's slow from there to Tesson Ferry, from Big Bend all the way up to Ladue. South 270 south of Isle to Ladue's busy. Southbound 61 midway between P and Wentzville Parkway onto 64 at the Boulevard's busy. Eastbound 70 Wentzville Parkway into 70 at Bryan Road. There's some heavy traffic. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin in Los Angeles, where a U.S. Marshal and a driver were shot and wounded by an ICE agent during a chaotic traffic stop. Correspondent Tom Hansen has our top story.
The U.S. Attorney's Office says the driver, Carlitos Ricardo Patias, a suspected undocumented immigrant, rammed his car into agents' vehicles during the stop and refused to obey orders. Authorities say that's when a federal agent opened fire, hitting and injuring Patias and a U.S. Marshal. Patias, a TikToker who goes by Richard L.A., is known for documenting immigration enforcement activity in Southern California.
He's scheduled to appear in court today. Protesters in New York descended on the streets of Chinatown as masked ICE agents tried to round up suspected undocumented street vendors. The New York Times reporting President Trump wants the federal government to pay him $230 million in compensation for taking him to court during his first term.
If I get money from our country, I'll do something nice with it, like give it to charity or give it to the White House while we restore the White House.
Vice President J.D. Vance meets with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem in a bid to shore up the peace plan for Gaza and a fragile ceasefire.
Israel, honestly, with our Gulf Arab allies, can play a very positive leadership role in this region, to where, frankly, the United States can care less about the Middle East because our allies in the region are stepping up.
Hamas returned the bodies of 2 more hostages last night. 13 remain in Gaza. Tourists in Paris are streaming into the Louvre for the first time since a smash-and-grab team of thieves made off with more than $100 million worth of French crown jewels Sunday.
Bree Floyd of Florida waited in a long line to get into the Louvre today. She and her group are being extra cautious with their own safety.
Just look out for each other because you literally don't know. It happened in broad daylight.
100 investigators have joined the search for the stolen jewels and the suspects. Criminologist Elaine Bauer says the security guards union at the Louvre had warned in June they were short-staffed.
Nobody listened until something dramatic happened.
France's culture minister says the museum security system was working properly. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Are you thinking about cashing in? CBS's Jesse Mitchell says most of us are ignoring financial advice.
9 in 10 Americans say they don't plan on waiting until they turn 70 to collect Social Security, according to a new study by investment firm Schroders. Recipients that delay receiving benefits for 3 years past the full retirement age of 67 can get a 30% bump in monthly payments.
Dow futures are down 44, NAS futures off 86. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
At 7:04, we have a clear sky, 45 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. Nearly 200 dogs in St. Louis County Animal Care and Control are hoping their barks do not go unheard.
The shelter is at capacity. It can comfortably accommodate 80 dogs. St. Louis County Executive Dr. Sam Page talks about why it's so important for the dog's well-being to be in a loving home.
We have little space to compassionately care for the animals that we have. And the overwhelming number of dogs creates anxiety and risk for the dogs and cats that are housed here.
Page asked the county council to approve more funding to expand the shelter and hold more free adoption events. But instead, the council approved doubling the adoption fees starting October 29th, something volunteers and workers tell KMOX will not help the overcrowding problem. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
County Executive Page vetoed raising adoption fees, but the council unanimously vetoed to override that veto.
I would like to provide clarification and context to ensure transparency with both the DPH and the public.
Read her days at the latest St. Louis County Council meeting, firing back at the Sam Page news conference. Days says,
I would suggest that the department encourages staff to develop a dashboard so that we can all see what the daily census of. It ebbs and ties, so it's not all 173 dogs per day.
Days says adoption fees were raised because the health department said it had been too long since they've been raised, and because the county has a $66 million shortfall in the budget, and the raised fees still don't come close to covering the costs of care. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Rams settlement update from St. Louis County. Council members are asking to be kept up to date on how the money is being spent. According to the latest tracker, there's just over $72 million available to be budgeted for new spending. The starting balance was $169 million.
I've never been more disappointed in this body. These greedy grabs of the Rams settlement money.
Ed Goldterman speaking at council public comment about it. So did Larry Rice.
People are hurting right now, and we need to use the Rams money to help the homeless. A walk-in shelter. When hospitals have someone they don't know where to place, they can bring them there. When police officers find them out on the streets and don't know where they can go, they can bring them there. They can get help.
So where has the Rams money gone? $40 million is going to repaving of subdivision streets, $10 million to cybersecurity, $10 million to police officer raises, and the county executive wants to use $59 million of it to balance next year's structural budget deficit.
No matter where you live, there's a lot of focus on data centers. Neighbors from St. Louis to St. Charles are concerned about the enormous amount of electricity they draw. In an exclusive interview with our partners at Fox 2, Missouri Governor Kehoe Notes a new state law directs utilities to make sure they're not charging the general public for improvements made for a single customer.
The consumer protection provisions put in Senate Bill 4 do just that. It allows for large industrial growth from our utilities, whether it's a data center or widget manufacturing, without putting the burden on the backs of Missouri consumers.
Kehoe says it's supposed to be a balance of both interests.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. The new BJC Plaza West Tower on Kings Highway has had a mechanics lien filed against it. BPK Electrical Contractors says they are still owed more than $800,000. According to the Business Journal, BPK says that it supplied work under contract with Sachs Electric Company, doing business as Archkey Sachs Electric. The original contract was for $25,000, but change orders approved and pending bumped that up to more than $1.5 million.
Well, the city sheriff would like out of jail. We've got that story on the way after we check traffic and weather. It's 7:08.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising. Hey guys, Glover here with my very good friend John Moriarty from E3 Wealth. John and I go back years and years and years. John, it's great to have you back in the DGS fold. Tell everyone who's unfamiliar with E3 Wealth what you guys are all about.
Thanks, Dave. So happy to be back. E3, the 3 E stand for Educate, Empower, Enlighten. We founded the firm, and sometimes we refer to it as E3 Consultants Group, because we want to proactively challenge the status quo as to how Americans are educated about money and finance-related decisions. It's a lot. So really what we try to do for our clients is help them think differently about money. And recently we've been doing a ton of things with business owners because we see that as an area where we can provide tremendous growth for them, because we can help them build wealth through their business and also reduce their income tax liabilities. And when you can do that for a business owner, it makes a huge difference in their life.
It's kind of one-stop shopping for all finances, personal and business.
Absolutely. Yes, that's our focus. That's what we're attempting to do with our new book that's coming out called The Entrepreneur Playbook. We're going to be able to help a lot of people understand strategies, ideas on how to build their wealth and also protect it.
So John is a total pro, completely vouch for him as a person. Love this guy. No pressure, no hard sales. You want to learn more about your finances, personal and business. Reach out to John at e3wealth.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Hey, sometimes we have to remind ourselves that we're on camera. You can watch us on YouTube, X, and Facebook, as Henry has. He is diligent in giving his, put it on the screen. Good morning, Debbie, Tom, Megan, and Roger, he says. Henry is introducing Roger for us, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. You're in the club now, Roger.
Okay. Well, thank you, Henry. I appreciate that. Not too much of a warm welcome if you're headed in on 55 this morning. You know, we had northbound 55 closed, then it was open. Now it's closed again, just temporarily. They're trying to wrap this crash up. Talking about the one at River de Pere there, north of River de Pere on northbound 55. So traffic's at a standstill back at Green Park, north of Lindbergh right now, north 55. Now it's also backed up most of the way from south of 67 up to McNutt. There's a crash. It's actually, I guess, southbound there in the left lane, but northbounders are looking at it. So bumper to bumper all the way through there on North 55 as well. And the right lanes are slow, Butler Hill to 270. As you get on to 270, you've got delays up to Gravois, north of 44 to Manchester, north of Manchester up to Ladue. Southbound 61, Highway P down to 64th. The Boulevard's busy. Eastbound 70. Some slow stuff around Wenswell Parkway and pockets in through Bryan Road. Downtown, we have a crash. Eastbound 64, I believe it's still in the left lane right at Greenmount Road. So traffic is jammed on eastbound 64 back near 159 because of that one. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, plenty of sunshine today and becoming breezy with a high of 65. Then tonight will be clear and chilly. Those will range from 36 in the coldest suburbs to about 42 downtown at the Arch. Sunny but cool tomorrow. A nice day, the high 63. Clouds increase Friday. There could be a shower towards sunset, the high 61. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Clear skies, 44 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
Lawyers for St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery are now asking a federal judge to release him from jail. In a new filing Tuesday, first reported by the Post-Dispatch, the sheriff's attorneys argue the magistrate judge's decision to lock him up last week was flawed. They claim the judge didn't properly consider evidence that refutes the witness tampering and retaliation charges against him. The filing argues Montgomery is an elected official with no criminal history who should not be imprisoned while awaiting trial.
The comptroller's office releasing their audit into the city sheriff's department.
We now know the amount the department was over budget for in the last fiscal year, over $812,000, roughly 15% of the funding they received from the city. The report also found there is no effective accounting system in place for recording revenue and expenditures, along with a lack of any proper payroll management system. In response to all the suggestions made by the comptroller's office, the sheriff's department said they will implement them beginning next fiscal year in July of 2026. The comptroller's response in the report criticized the lengthy timeline to implement these changes, saying immediate action should be undertaken now, not in 2026, and the department's operations remain at a high risk until corrective measures are in place. In a statement, Comptroller Donna Barringer says the audit will ensure taxpayer dollars are used responsibly, regardless of leadership changes. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The St. Louis City Justice Center is holding their first ever job fair today as they hope to fill around 50 correctional positions for officers. Commission of Corrections Nate Hayward tells KMOX these hiring events were successful when he was in charge of the county's jail.
We held job fairs like every other month, and that's how we select a lot of officers that's working at St. Louis County.
Now in the city, applicants at the job fair can receive a conditional job offer if they meet certain qualifications. The job fair begins at 10 a.m. at City Hall.
I hear a lot from constituents that no one pays attention to us down here in the Metro East. So it means a lot for you to be here.
That is State Representative Katie Stewart of Edwardsville thanking Secretary of State Alexi Janulius. Police in the Metro East getting $11 million in funding through his office for the Auto Theft Task Force. Stewart argues fighting crime is an issue that should unify all lawmakers regardless of party.
I think public safety should be one of those things where we all agree. Doing the things we can do to support our officers so that they can support us and make our community safe is something that I believe should be, it's not just bipartisan, it's nonpartisan.
The new money will be used by law enforcement to buy technology like license plate readers to track and recover stolen cars.
7:15, time to talk some sports, and the St. Louis Blues in action last night at Enterprise Center, and it went to overtime against the Kings.
And then Kempe, they cross. Seam pass, Kempe shoots, and he scores! Kempe wins it! Kings in overtime. Goodbye, good night, game over.
That's the voice of John Kelly. You might be telling yourself, wait a minute, I didn't think John Kelly was doing the Blues games anymore. Well, he did that one because he's the play-by-play voice of the LA Kings now. And Adrian Kempe with the game-winning goal last night in overtime gave the Kings a 2-1 lead and win. The Blues did have a tribute to Kelly last night, a collection of his great highlights and a big ovation from the crowd at Enterprise Center. Kelly was let go as play-by-play voice on television over the summer. He has since picked up a job with FanDuel Sports Network on the LA side and a national job at ESPN. Meanwhile, college football happening this weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. ESPN's College Game Day will be in the house for Mizzou and Vanderbilt, but a little bit salty is Eli Drinkwitz, apparently, when asked about it. Take a listen.
College Game Day is coming to a Mizzou game for the first time in 11 years. They've only covered Mizzou 6 times. I'm curious, does that amplify the stage itself at all, or does that change anything in preparation or make the game even bigger?
Is it in First Bank Stadium?
I'm not sure where it is this week.
Doesn't affect anything then for us. We're the road team. So we'll show up, we'll go to the visitors' locker room, we'll walk out on the field and play the game. Whatever else they got for their fans there is up to them, but doesn't affect us. I don't even think they want to talk to us.
I mean, they literally featured Drinkwitz 2 weeks ago on College Game Day when he was at Faurot Field. He's walking on the field, talking to all the hosts before the Alabama game. Must have forgotten about that. He is all business right now. Lost to Alabama by 3. He's been on a mission to get this team back into college football playoff contention. They went to Auburn. They won in overtime. We'll see what they can do this weekend against a tough Vanderbilt team. This is the first time Vanderbilt's been in the top 10 since 1947. They're ranked 10th in the country. They're 6-1. Missouri is 15th in the nation at 6-1. Good battle as well in Seattle, as number 23 Illinois will visit Washington at the same time, 2:30 on Saturday. The World Series starts on Friday night. The Blue Jays will play at home against the Dodgers. Are the Blue Jays capable of knocking off the world champion Dodgers? We'll see. They'll have to bash home runs, says Bernie Miklasz, and we'll get full analysis from Bernie at 7:45. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. So they've been with me for 15 plus years. So we've had a lot of seasons together. So it is officially fall now. It's spooky season. You've got Halloween coming up. You have people coming over. It is time to nest for the winter and the holidays. In other words, it's a great time to get your carpets cleaned, to get your furniture clean, to get your air ducts clean, and your dryer vent clean. You can do all of those very reasonably. There's always a DGS special. This month, it is 3 months of carpet clean starting at $129. That's a $40 savings, 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleaning. The guys do a great job. They've been out to my house half a dozen times, maybe more than that. They work their butts off. They're professional. They are courteous. Call 314-474-2020. You can also book online at ZeroResSTL.com. 314-474-2020, ZeroResSTL.com.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Windows specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction, 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:20. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Let's check in with Roger Brand and see what's happening on your ride in. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news on 55, Debbie. They reopened and completely cleared now the crash at Loughborough, or just before Loughborough. Now, northbound 55 still has a backup south of 67. Bumper to bumper, most of that way up to McNutt, so that's a couple miles of backed up traffic there. Then you're slow midway up from Merrimack Bottom to Butler Hill to 270. That's primarily the right lanes, and then again a jam from Green Park up through Weber, and then it's opening up again. That crash was north of River to Pear initially. Northbound 270, 55 through Gravois, bogged down. 44 most of the way up to Ladou's busy. South 270 south of 364 to Ladou's heavy. Eastbound 70 through Highway Z. There's slow stuff in toward Bryan Road, East K into TR Hughes. 94 into Fifth Street a little bit after that. If you're on southbound 61, bogged down midway between P and Wentzville Parkway into 64 at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. It's slow through Winghaven, slow through the Chesterfield Parkways at the Interbelt, barely a slowdown. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley's busy. Downtown westbound 64, 25th Street through Ball Avenue is kind of slow, and 3rd Street to the Poplar. And eastbound 64, we have that crash past Greenmount Road in the left lane traffic. Eastbound 64 jammed to 159. And one of our KMOX commuters wanted to remind us we do have an injury crash, Big Bend at Doherty Ferry. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. It's going to be sunny and breezy today, a fall day, high 65, clear and chilly tonight. Lows ranging from 36 in the coldest suburbs to 42 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, sunny but cool again, a high of 63 degrees. Currently, it's clear and 44 downtown at the Arch. Weather sponsored by Lion's Choice. where you can enjoy a quick and delicious meal but make it healthy with plenty of low-cal, low-carb, vegetarian, and gluten-free options. There's something to satisfy everyone on the Lion's Choice menu. Stop by today. Lion's Choice.
The news continues at 7:22. It's a problem at many shelters. Too many animals in overcrowded conditions, not enough people to foster or adopt.
St. Louis County Executive Dr. Sam Page made a plea to help make a dog's life better. He talked about the many reasons dogs end up in shelters like County Animal Care and Control.
Animals that don't have a home because their pet owner has passed away and they've been surrendered. Sometimes the family moves to a different apartment and that new apartment doesn't allow them to keep a dog. Some dogs are turned into us because their owners can no longer afford to take care of them because they've lost a job or they've had an increase in their rent or no longer have the finances to do that.
Another reason for the pet overpopulation, not having pets spayed or neutered, regardless of how they end up at shelters. It is not the ideal life. Like this past summer, there was a deadly parvovirus outbreak at County ACC, and the shelter simply does not have enough space now to isolate the new rescues that come in from the rest of the pet population. Page has asked the council for more funding to expand ACC, but they have not made a decision yet. Last week, the council did think it was a good idea, though, to double adoption fees. Page vetoed it, and the council overrode his vote. Page is also pushing to have more free adoption events around the area. The ACC shelter is under new leadership, Malik Johnson. And according to several volunteers that KMOX spoke with, they have made great improvements since the summer. Dr. Kanika Cunningham is the county public health director and still oversees ACC.
We see this as a public health issue and potentially a public health crisis. The research shows that fee waive adoption events does not lead to animals going to abusive homes. It does not lead to dogs being used in dogfighting operations, and it does not mean an individual cannot provide quality care for their loving animal. Animal welfare is something our community care deeply about, and so do we. But with that comes the responsibility. Shelters are not a place for long-term care. It is our responsibility to provide the 5 freedoms for animal welfare, which are freedom from hunger and thirst, freedom from discomfort, freedom from pain, injury, and disease, freedom to express normal behavior, and freedom from fear and distress. Meeting the mental and physical needs of the care of our animals is a top priority for the health department, but we cannot do that with barriers in place. With this responsibility also comes a cost. Running an effective, humane shelter that gives every animal the best chance at an adoption takes people, time, and significant resources. For example, to keep a dog in our care, it costs $20 per day. The average stay in our shelter is 32 days. That means one dog costs us roughly $640 per month to care for. With about 174 dogs currently in our care, that adds up to nearly $111,000 per month to provide food, medicine, and staff time. When that number increases above 200, that's more than $128,000 per month.
Right now at County Animal Care and Control, there are 33 dogs who have been at the shelter longer than 30 days. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
After several meetings with the representatives from DPH and Dr. Cunningham, not once did they say there was an issue with raising the fees.
I'm Michael Calhoun with County Council reaction to what the county executive's been saying about animal care and control. Council Chairwoman Rita Days.
It costs approximately $20 per day to care for each animal, with an average stay of 32 days, totaling around $648 per animal. Even with the revised adoption fee of $80, the cost remains significantly below the actual expense for care.
And she also notes,
we are also facing a $66 million deficit in our budget. We don't have money to give away.
She says the new $80 adoption fees are still lower than the $120 to $180 charged by comparable shelters and still don't cover the complete costs.
The decision to adjust the adoption fees was based on the growing operational costs required to provide adequate care, food, medical treatment, and facility maintenance for the animals in our care. The recent adjustments to adoption fees and shelter policies were made to ensure financial sustainability and continued high-quality care for animals.
Day says the Department of Health's legal assistant was the one that insisted it had been too long since the fees had been raised. She also responds to the request for more free adoption holidays.
Under the current policy, we have implemented 2 free adoption events per year with an additional emergency clause that allows flexibility when necessary.
And also claims that population numbers could be inflated.
I would suggest that the department encourages staff to develop a dashboard so that we can all see what the daily census of. It ebbs and ties, so it's not all 173 dogs per day.
That overcrowding is what led the department to ask for dollars for an expansion of the facility, but Day says the existing operations aren't up to standards, don't reflect best practices, and wants them to focus on improvement before expansion. She suggests more qualified staffing. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's 7:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Some people spend more time planning their weekend barbecue than their retirement. And hey, I love barbecue, but ribs won't pay your bills at 85. I'm Gary Goldberg, the founder of Financial and Tax Strategies. I'll help you retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Give me a call, 800-966-1690, or visit us at checkwithgary.com before you burn through more than just your burgers.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial, Inc., an FFC registered investment advisor.
At 7:30, hey, look at this. John Grayson says, hi, Debbie, Tom, and Megan. Good morning from Midtown Manhattan.
Oh, my gosh.
Former KMOX hosts. We're going to be hearing from a lot of them here as we turn 100 on Christmas Eve. With Debbie Monterrey, I'm Tom Ackerman. It's 7:30, 45 degrees right now and sunny in downtown St. Louis.
Let's get you an update on the roadways. If you're just heading in this morning, hopefully no trouble spots. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, backups into earlier troubles, though, Debbie. If you're on northbound 55, you got a backup south of 67, most of the way up to McNutt. The right lane's busy, Butler Hill to 270, and all lanes still jammed from Green Park up to about Weber, and then it's slow through Holly Hills due to an earlier crash at both those locations. North 270 from 55 all the way up to Ladue is off the pace the whole way through. South 270, 364 to Ladue is busy. Eastbound 70, east of Wentzville Parkway. There's slow stuff all the way into 79, 94 across the Blanchette Bridge. Southbound 61, south of Highway P down onto 64 at the Boulevard. Both sides of Winghaven, it's busy. Approaching K into Research Park, there's slow stuff east of Annie Guns through Clarkson backed up, and then it's slow at the Interbelt. Westbound 64 is bumper to bumper from the Science Center headed out through the city limits, but slow to Hanley. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. Eastbound 44, 141 through Bowles is busy, and around the Cleat Station a little heavy. Downtown westbound 64, 25th Street to the Poplar is slow, and eastbound 64 still jammed east of 159 past Green Mountain Road due to road work and an earlier crash there. Next update is 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we're going to have a sunny, breezy day today, high 65. Chilly tonight. It's going to get down to 36 in the coldest suburbs to 42 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, sunny but cool, high 63. Friday, a little more cloudy and possible shower late in the day and a high of 61 degrees. Currently, it's 44 downtown.
SNAP benefits could expire next month if the government remains shut down, adding stress to already strained food banks.
Kristen Wild, president of Operation Food Surge, describes a perfect storm that they're already dealing with ahead of SNAP benefits potentially expiring.
In the aftermath of the tornado, with increasing food prices, with layoffs during the government shutdown.
Wild says over 650,000 people in Missouri and over 2 million people in Illinois rely on SNAP benefits. In North City, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A new resource and outreach center is now open in North St. Louis for victims of the May tornado.
It's inside the Urban League building on Natural Bridge Avenue, which was in the path of the twister. St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer.
And I want you to know that we are taking this seriously and we are working to ensure that we are providing housing for all of our community in the months ahead. We're not done yet.
Amid the government shutdown, St. Louis's Chief Recovery Officer, Julia Nick, says FEMA is still answering the phone.
For us, nothing's moving fast enough. But what I'll say is that when I call the FCO, they still answer the call when things get stuck in Washington.
Also new, the ability for property owners in the tornado zone to fill out an application to request the city tear down their home. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Would you like to be a good leader? The former CEO of Barry Waymiller has a book for you. Bob Chapman is now the chairman of the board. His book, Everybody Matters, The Extraordinary Power of Caring for Your People Like Family, has been re-released as a 10th anniversary edition.
But Chapman says the way we lead impacts the way people live, and business can be a powerful force for good if leaders understand the profound responsibility they have to the lives they are privileged to lead. Barry Waymiller is a 140-year-old company. Chapman became CEO in 1975 at the age of 30, when the company's annual revenue was $20 million. It is now more than $3.6 billion. Robert's son, Kyle, has succeeded him as CEO.
It is 7:34, and we are going to get to your Money Minute for this hour and talk more about peanut allergies when we return on Total Information AM.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Hey guys, Dave and Rach here for our good friends at Smart Mouth. So it is unique by the very definition of the word. It's the only mouth rinse out there with two chemicals that combine to prevent bad breath for 24 hours a day with just 2 rinses a day.
Never have bad breath again. You can find Smart Mouth locally at Schnucks and Deerbergs or at Walgreens, Walmart, and Amazon. Visit smartmouth.com to snag a special discount on your next Smart Mouth purchase. That's smartmouth.com/Glover.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer: an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your traffic. So get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Save 77% on NordVPN and get 3 extra months.
It is 7:36, and your Money Minute is sponsored by Busey Bank. Let's get the very latest from Bloomberg.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stock futures are down following disappointing earnings from Netflix. The world's most valuable entertainment company posted quarterly operating income of almost $3.25 billion. That's about $400 million below its own forecast and analyst estimates. Investors now bracing for Tesla earnings today after the bell. Walmart has paused offers to overseas job candidates requiring the H-1B visas for highly skilled specialized work. It's over the Trump administration's $100,000 visa fee. The current guideline primarily impacts Walmart's corporate employees. The company is the largest user of H-1B visas among major retail chains. Anthropic's reportedly in talks with Google about a deal for cloud computing services valued in the high tens of billions of dollars. And not as many people drinking Heineken these days. The Dutch brewer narrowed its profit forecast range and adjusted its growth outlook due to inflation and lower demand in countries like the U.S. and Brazil. Beer volume dropped by more than 4%. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Hey, one of our longest partners here, Gamma Tree Experts. I remember the first time I met Tim Gamma. He remembers if he's listening. It was down at spring training. And I knew right then and there we had one thing in common. That was we love baseball. The other thing we have in common is we love St. Louis, and he absolutely has put the work in, just like his father, Frank Gamma, did back in 1954 when he started Gamma Tree Experts. This is a tremendous business. They have been working in St. Louis since 1954 with the same things that make them popular today: integrity, quality, all of the things that you want out of a business: responsiveness, professionalism. And yes, they take down trees, they treat trees, they cut limbs, they work for municipalities and commercial businesses and residential. They've been with us for well over a decade. Love Gamma Tree Experts. Tim Gamma will come over and take a look at all of our trees, tell us which ones are doing well, which ones need a little help. We just had a tree taken down, actually, and Gamma Tree Experts can do that for you. Now, when we get into thunderstorm season, you know, they do the cleanup too. That's why they're a 24-hour business. At 314-725-6159, you can get a hold of Gamma Tree Experts. You're going to be very happy with them. Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Takeback Day, October 25th. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
For all Station Contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
It is 7:40. We need to get you updated on traffic and weather. And Roger Brandt has the very latest for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's busy for folks commuting south out of Lincoln County this morning, Debbie. This traffic reports service of the Woodlands of Arnold Senior Living. There's a crash southbound 61 at Highway A, so traffic's jammed back to Highway P. And southbound 79, not a complete jam, but it's busy from Highway C and Old Monroe in spots all the way down to North Main Street, so a lot of volume. Eastbound 70, Wentzville Parkway, all the way into 79, 94 all the way into the airport. There's a lot of slow traffic. 64 from Winghaven into Cade, Research Park, it's slow. Boone's Crossing all the way to Maryville Center. East of Lindbergh all the way through the Interbelt. South 170 bogs down at Olive. South 270 south of Dorset down to Ladou's busy. Westbound 64 The Science Center out to Hanley's pretty heavy. North 270, 55 to Ladue is slow. 44, 141 through Bowles. Elm up to Laclede Station's off the pace. 55 still backed up from 67 up to McNutt. The right lanes at Butler Hill. All lanes from Green Park up through River to Pear. Westbound 64 west of 111 to the Poplar. And eastbound 64 jammed east of 159 most of the way to 158. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
7:42, time to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. It is definitely seat warmer weather.
Question about it, Debbie. I mean, it's a cool morning. Temperatures are down in the 40s all across the area, and that's going to be the case tomorrow morning. In fact, some places are going to be in the mid to upper 30s. That's how cool this air mass is that's invaded our area. At least it'll be sunny today, although breezy to high 65. Chilly tonight, clear skies, 36 in some of the coldest spots, 42 downtown at the Arch. Sunny, cool tomorrow, about 63. Then the sunshine will give way to more and more clouds on Friday with a high of 61. Looks like there'll be some showers around Friday night into Saturday. Saturday's high 58. Even Sunday looks to be mostly cloudy with a risk of a shower, the high 64. Right now across the area with those clear skies, sunshine coming up over the horizon, it's 44 at St. Peter's, 45 in Florissant, and 48 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:43. Peanut allergies in kids are down more than 40% in the wake of a change in advice on how to best deal with the issue in infants.
A new study finds the number of peanut allergy cases in kids has dropped sharply. In the 10 years since a landmark trial found babies could cut their chances of developing an allergy by more than 80% if gradually introduced to peanuts at an early age. Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel.
And it's going to be huge if more and more parents would follow it. Right now, it's about 10 to 20% of parents follow this. That's not enough.
This study finds eggs have overtaken peanuts as the number one food allergen in kids under 3. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Correspondent Michael George reports on important information for people who track their daily steps.
A Mass General Brigham study found older women who took 4,000 steps just once or twice a week had a 27% lower risk for cardiovascular disease and a 26% lower risk of death. Notably, the health benefits were linked to how many steps were taken rather than how many days a person was active.
New evidence about the health benefits of a mother's touch. A Cochrane review of previous studies found newborns who have skin-to-skin contact with their mother in the first hour after birth have more successful breastfeeding and optimal body temperatures and blood sugar levels. Skin-to-skin contact keeps infants warm and reduces stress, helping them adapt to life outside the womb.
Well, speaking of birth of babies, birthing music is becoming more popular in the baby ward.
When it comes to giving birth, the majority of moms prefer to be serenaded by Coldplay. Baby stroller brand Eye Candy's spin through Spotify birth playlists finds Fix You is the number one choice in delivery rooms. Ed Sheeran is second. Fleetwood Mac and the Beatles tie for third.
Here comes the sun.
Other favorites to push by?
And you can tell everybody.
Elton John, Norah Jones, John Legend, and Taylor Swift. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Today is October 22nd. On this date in 2011, this guy got up. He told me on the team bus. He hadn't been hitting all that well. He got up on the bus on the way to the ballpark, and he said, "Fellas, today is my day. Get on my back." His name is Albert Pujols.
And another pitch from Oliver to Albert Pujols with no one on and 2 out, 2-2 delivery. Swinging another home run. There it is, his third of the game. Albert Pujols, 5 for 5 with 3 home runs. And it's now 16-7. What a game from Albert Pujols here tonight. 5 for his last 5 with a 3-run homer, a 2-run homer, now a solo blast.
We'll never forget it. We'll never forget that voice either. Mike Shannon with the call on KMOX. Cardinals did indeed win that game 3, 16-7, and they won the World Series in 2011. You know who's interviewing for the Padres managerial job today? Albert Pujols. We'll see if he ends up getting that, but he is one of the candidates for the job in San Diego. How about the World Series? It's the Dodgers and the Blue Jays going at it, and Bernie Miklasz on the Gas House Gang says,
yeah, they're going to have to hit home runs. I mean, that's fueled them this entire postseason. They don't put a lot of base hits together, walks together. They don't piecemeal an offense. It's power driven, and they can do that. But some team, and there's only one team left that can do it, has got to do something to slow down that Dodgers starting pitching, because it has been utterly phenomenal this postseason.
Blake Snell is going to start game 1, Yoshinobu Yamamoto in game 2. Game 1 in Toronto on Friday night. Last night, Enterprise Center John Kelly was honored as former Blues television voice. He was let go this past summer, picked up the job with the Kings, and they picked up the victory last night, 2-1 in overtime. Jim Montgomery said before this game he didn't like the way the team looked in practice. He wanted them to pick it up, and that kind of carried over into last night's game. Take a listen.
I would just like to see more one-on-one battles. I would like to see us play faster. I'd like to see us play firmer in confrontational areas, whether that's net fronts, it's battles on walls. Like LA Kings were a desperate hockey team coming in here. I think they had lost 3 straight and 1 in overtime. So it looks like they lost 4 straight, and this is the National Hockey League. Teams are going to be desperate. We didn't match their desperation.
Blues' next game is at home tomorrow night. They take on the Utah Mammoth. That's their new name, the Mammoth. I'm Tom Ackerman on the Mammoth voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Grammy-nominated Joe Bonamassa, hailed as one of the world's greatest guitar players. Blues rock titan Joe Bonamassa, performing live on November 26th at the Stiefel Theater. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Joe Bonamassa. Every show is a new experience.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Red Kingdom is back at FanDuel Sports Network Live in Ballpark Village. See every game on the largest screen in town. Don't forget about the $25 buckets, $5 cocktails, and the best tailgate food around. Grab your friends along with Kingdom OX and huddle up for the games at the best watch party in town. If you can't make it, but don't want to miss a down, listen to the Chiefs on Kingdom OX or Kingdom OX on the Odyssey app. For more info, kingdomox.com/events.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
Let's get you updated on your ride in and the weather. Roger Branson, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center, with the latest.
Well, we've still got heavy traffic in a lot of places. Eastbound 70 Debbie, Wentzville Parkway into Z is slow from Lake St. Louis Boulevard into 79, 94. A couple of pockets into the airport from 170 through the Cool Valley area. It's even kind of slow. Southbound 61, they cleared the crash we had at Highway A. It's jammed, though, at Highway P. About midway down to that point, remains busy onto 64 to the Boulevard. A little slowdown at Winghaven, Boone's Crossing. Pretty much all the way to Maryville Center and east of 270, a few slow pockets to the inner belt, not as bad there. South 170, bugs down at Olive, westbound 64, Science Center to Big Bend's heavy. South 270 approaching Dorset down to Olive, and then it starts opening up. North 270, 55 all the way up to Ladou's busy. 44, 141 through Bowles. From really Big Bend all the way to the Cleat Station is kind of heavy. Northbound 55 still has a jam approaching 67 up through Highway A. The right lane's at Butler Hill. South of Rivas Barracks all the way up through Virginia's pretty heavy. 64 westbound approaching 25th Street, pockets to the Poplar, and eastbound 64 slow east of 157 and jammed east of 159 most of the way past Greenmount due to roadwork and an earlier crash. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
I see KMOX's number one listener, Andrew Price, says good morning. He's listening and watching on Facebook. Boy, the Facebook feed's hot today. Hot.
That's because you keep talking about
Yeah.
it.
Sunshine, breezy, high 65 today, clear and chilly, lows in the low 40s. Tomorrow, that's for tonight. Tomorrow, sunny but cool, high 63. Friday might get a little rain late in the day and a high of 61. Currently, we have sun. It's 44 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52. President Trump says he'll meet with Democratic leaders on one condition.
Democrats say they want to discuss the government shutdown with President Trump before he leaves for the Asia summit on Friday. The president says, okay, but with this caveat.
I would love to meet with them. We want the country open first.
Senate Democrats have been demanding the president and Senate Republicans extend expiring tax subsidies that help millions of Americans pay for their health care under the Affordable Care Act. Republicans say that issue could be discussed at a later time, although they gave no indication about when. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
The east wing of the White House that held the First Lady's offices and other operations is being demolished with the plan of President Trump to have a large ballroom constructed. Private money has been raised by the president and supporters for the more than $200 million cost. Rice University presidential historian Douglas Brinkley is critical of the idea, but not surprised by it.
What we're feeling now is this is about President Trump's gilded a love of gold and, the Trump Tower in Mar-a-Lago. It doesn't feel like a historic renovation. It feels like a wrecking ball to build a larger and larger ballroom that was supposed to be about 600 people, and now it could be 900 people.
Security expected to be tight as opening statements begin today in the murder trial of a former Illinois sheriff's deputy.
With 2 lesser charges dropped, former Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson now faces first-degree murder in the 2024 shooting death of Sonia Massey in her kitchen. She had called police about a possible prowler.
Sheriff's Office!
Grayson's defense team is expected to argue that he fired in self-defense, fearing that Massey would throw a pot of boiling water at him.
Wait for your hot steaming water.
That's when Massey was shot in the head. Due to pretrial publicity, the trial has been moved to Peoria County, Illinois, about an hour away from where the fatal shooting took place. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Christopher Moynihan from Clinton, New York, is under arrest for allegedly threatening House Majority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. The 34-year-old is one of the January 6th rioters who was pardoned from his 21-month prison sentence when President Trump took office. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarland.
We found a half dozen other January 6 defendants who've been arrested again in the months since their pardon, including for breaking and entering, theft, child abuse. As for Christopher Moynihan, he's pleaded not guilty and is back in court in Dutchess County, New York on Thursday.
Jeffries responding to the arrest saying that he believes it was reckless and irresponsible to pardon the hundreds of people who broke into the Capitol.
Go outside and play. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. A new poll finds 1 in 10 preschoolers play outside once a week or less.
That's a lot of 1 to 5-year-olds in this country.
Sarah Clark co-directed the poll for the C.S. Mott Children's Hospital in Michigan. She says kids need outdoor play.
Because that's really the key to young kids having physical, social, cognitive development.
Clark says families are busy, but parents need to carve out more playtime, even just a few minutes a day.
Families are busy. It may be that in a busy family life, parents need a reminder to stop and incorporate this. And I would say it doesn't have to be for long periods of time. If we're on the way to a dentist appointment, leave 15 or 20 minutes early, stop at a park, take a walk around the block. There's little kids, so they don't need an all-day outing. But little blocks of time could be something that parents could incorporate.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
It is 7:56.
Looks like we are definitely out of the massive heat waves that we received this year. But any week when it's 90 degrees during the day and 90 degrees at night is in St. Louis, the humidity is not comfortable, and our bills do go up. With that being said, we're coming up in the winter months, and this is the time that you want to get your furnace looked at and checked. It's inexpensive to have it looked at for your peace of mind. And this is also the time of the year where you'll hear during your furnace checkups that you have a bad heat exchanger or you need a new furnace. Call me if you hear that for a second opinion. You'll be happy you did. And it's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, Bart Inman. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. And God bless.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
From your friends at Lombardo Homes, congrats to Dave Glover and the DGS show on 25 years of building something great. Thanks for keeping St. Louis entertained, informed, and laughing all along the way.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Roger Brand checking it out from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still have backed up traffic in pockets southbound 79 about midway down from the Quiver River to North Main Street, southbound 61 Highway P down onto 64 to the Boulevard and east of Winghaven, a little heavy. Still a bumper-to-bumper backup in pockets from Boone's Crossing all the way to 141, slow from Lindbergh through the Interbelt, south 270 Page all the way down to Olive, north 270, north of 55 all the way to Ladue is slow. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Wednesday, October 22nd. I'm Debbie Monterrey. Your kids may be feeling the pressure at school this semester. A new book will help with anxiety.
Could Amazon replace warehouse workers with robots?
KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz breaks down the reasons for sky-high beef prices.
The Supreme Court is considering whether people who use recreational marijuana can have guns. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young will look at the arguments.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. It'll be sunny today and rather breezy, the high 65.
Megan Lynch is next for Debbie Monterrey. I'm Tom Ackerman. I'll be back at noon. The Gas House Gang with Chris Ranji. It's 8 o'clock.
Winner of the National Edward R. Murrow Award for breaking news. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin with the skyrocketing cost of health care as Democrats and Republicans in Congress remain at odds over expiring subsidies that have ushered the government shutdown into its 22nd day. Correspondent Michael Wallace has new numbers.
The nonprofit KFF surveyed 1,800 employers and found the cost of their family health insurance plans rose 6% this year to $27,000. Insurers blame rising rates of illnesses like cancer in the working age population. More employers are passing the burden on to their employees in the form of higher deductibles and co-payments.
As for the shutdown, more furloughed federal workers like Melissa Westbrook are heading to food pantries to make ends meet.
We don't know when it's going to end, and I need to pay my bills.
The Senate will hold a 12th vote on a bill to end the stalemate today. Majority Leader John Thune.
We're hopeful that this will be the week when we break out of this and the Democrats come to their senses.
The Senate is expected to vote tomorrow on a GOP bill that could pay some federal employees who are working during the shutdown, including active duty military and other essential employees. Pomp and circumstance in Jerusalem for the visit of a top U.S. official.
Standing next to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Vice President J.D. Vance said the next stage of the ceasefire will be challenging.
We have a very, very tough task ahead of us, which is to disarm Hamas, but rebuild Gaza.
The U.S. brokered ceasefire signed earlier this month has faced challenges as Israel and Hamas have each accused the other of violating it. Linda Gradstein for CBS News, Jerusalem.
Tense face-offs with ICE agents on both coasts. In New York City, it began when masked officers started a roundup operation. CBS's Tom Hansen is there.
Agents descended on Canal Street in Chinatown, targeting street vendors allegedly selling designer knockoffs, as protesters made their way to the Federal Plaza to demand the release of ICE detainees. More agents arrived, armed in combat gear and a military vehicle.
TikTok streamer has a court appearance in L.A. a day after he and a U.S. Marshal were wounded by a bullet that ricocheted from an ICE agent. Tourists in Paris are back at the Louvre 3 days after thieves made off with more than $100 million worth of the French crown jewels.
Astonishing that they were able to do something like that in such a short amount of time with no one really noticing what was going on. Right. So it really was like an ultimate heist in the middle of the day.
It almost sounded like a movie.
Just like a movie.
Still no arrests, still no sign of those priceless gems. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies and 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Wednesday, October 22nd. I'm Megan Lynch. That's the sound of overcrowded St. Louis County Animal Care and Control. Nearly 200 dogs. The capacity is 80.
Volunteers tell KMOX Animal Care and Control is making progress in improving its image following the deadly outbreak of parvo this summer, and prior to that, the many years of inhumane treatment of animals. County Executive Dr. Sam Page says, with the overcrowding, there is no place to segregate new rescues, increasing the risk of widespread illness. He requested more funding from the council. They have not approved it, but they did unanimously vote to override Page's veto of doubling adoption fees.
Not being able to adopt them results in longer stays and more expenses, more behavior problems, and the inability to place them in a happy home.
It costs $640 per month per animal. The average stay at ACC, 32 days. That means with the current population, that adds up to around $111,000 per month. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
There are currently 33 dogs who have been at County ACC for over a month.
After several meetings with the representatives from DPH and Dr. Cunningham, not once did they say there was an issue with raising the fees.
I'm Michael Calhoun with County Council Reaction. Chairwoman Rita Hurd Days.
It costs approximately $20 per day to care for each animal, with an average stay of 32 days, totaling around $648 per animal. Even with the revised adoption fee of $80, the cost remains significantly below the actual expense for care.
Days says the county is facing an overall budget deficit, and she notes that the $80 adoption fees are still lower than the $120 to $180 charged by comparable shelters.
A city audit found the St. Louis Sheriff's Department overspent by more than $812,000 because they don't have a proper system for tracking money or payroll. More from KMOX's Sean Malone.
In response to all the suggestions made by the Comptroller's office, the Sheriff's Department said they will implement them beginning next fiscal year in July of 2026. The Comptroller's response in the report criticized the lengthy timeline to implement these changes, saying immediate action should be undertaken now, not in 2026, and the department's operations remain at a high risk until corrective measures are in place. In a statement, Comptroller Donna Barringer says the audit will ensure taxpayer dollars are used responsibly, regardless of leadership changes.
Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe addressing the Northside battery plant that ran out of juice after a federal grant was canceled. The company behind it, ICL, is an international heavyweight and has had a long-standing presence in Carondelet. Kehoe tells our partners at Fox 2.
As a business person that's been involved in multiple conversations like this over the many years I've been in small business, there's two sides to the story.
The $547 million project would have brought 150 jobs to the north side.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
For 25 years, the Warner's Warm-Up Coat Drive has been a dependable resource for impoverished men, women, and children in the bi-state. Together Credit Union is proud to team up with the Kurt Warner First Things First Foundation and Operation Food Search for the 25th Annual Warner's Warm-Up Coat Drive. From October 20th to November 2nd, new and gently used winter clothes of all sizes will be collected at all 14 Together Credit Union locations to help keep our neighbors warm during the cold winter months. For more information and a full list of donation locations, visit kurtwarner.org.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime. And it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now, the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
From the KMOX Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. The founder of Meds and Foods for Kids, Dr. Pat Wolf, has received a Top Agri-Food Pioneer Award from the World Food Prize Foundation. The prize was awarded in Des Moines. Wolf also is participating on a panel about how localized development solutions can feed more of the world's children. It's now 8:10. Let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the highways are still pretty busy, Megan. Eastbound Highway 70 drivers still looking at slow traffic from Lake St. Louis into 79, a little busy through 270. Southbound 79 from north of Dalbo Road, I guess, really is pockets down to North Main Street. That's more than midway back to Old Monroe still at this point in time. Southbound 61 south of P down on 64 at the Boulevard is slow, a little busy east of Winghaven, a backup east of Boone's Crossing through Clarkson, and from 270 all the way through the Interbelt, some slow pockets. South 170, Olive down to about Brentwood's busy. Westbound 64, Hampton through Big Bend is slow. South 270 not that bad, but North 270 still busy. North of 55 off the pace all the way up to Ladue. Eastbound Olive west of Fifi, most of the way to 270 is backed up. 44 east of Lindbergh all the way to Cleat Station's heavy. Northbound 55 still a jam. South of Rivas to River to Pear. Westbound 64 still slow. 25th Street to the Poplar, and eastbound 64 east of 159 past Green Mount Road most of the way to 158 is bumper to bumper in that work zone. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Bright sunshine today and becoming breezy but cool. High 65. Clear, chilly tonight. We'll slip to 36 in some of the coldest suburbs to about 42 downtown at the Arch. Bright sunshine tomorrow. Another cool day. High 63. Clouds increase Friday. There could be a shower toward evening, the high 61. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Currently, we have 46 degrees in Florissant. It's 44 in St. Peter's. Sunny skies, 46 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. We're well into the school year now, and it may be taking a toll on some of your kids. Jennifer Licati is a school counselor and author of 9 books. Her latest, written for kids aged 9 to 14, to help them recognize the toll that stress takes on them and give them strategies to cope. It's called My Anxiety is Messing Things Up.
I love the way you set this up, as Oscar is this hardworking student. He wants to succeed. One of those kids that gets a lot of praise from teachers and coaches, but inside he's miserable because he's dealing with a lot of anxiety. How often do you see this among kids?
I do see it pretty often. I feel like these high achieving students, they carry so much on their shoulders and they really want to do well. And sometimes they're perfectionists. So even when the rest of the world views them as doing well, they're still really hard on themselves. So I wanted to bring a character like that to light so that students can feel and children can feel not so alone in how they're having these feelings about their achievements and being hard on themselves to succeed.
Is this pressure internal or external?
I think it's both. I feel like it's different for every child, but I think it can be both. You could have well-meaning parents who put pressure on a child because they see their potential and they want them to be really successful. So they just keep pushing them. And then it could also be internal. So, for each child, it's different. So it's hard to say definitively where it comes from, but it definitely can come from a variety of sources.
I don't remember when I was a kid ever discussing anxiety with anyone or that being discussed with us as, a potential stumbling block. Is this something that you find is being discussed more with kids or they are bringing up themselves?
Yes, I feel like we've done such a good job as a country in bringing mental health to the forefront that it's okay to have these negative emotions. You're not going to feel great all the time. That's just not the human existence. And bringing these emotions up so that children know that they're not alone in feeling anxiety. And there's also healthy anxiety. There's anxiety that exists that causes you to study before an exam because you want to do really well. There's all kinds of different ways that anxiety can exist. It's not always something that is negative and you need interventions. It might just be that you need coping strategies when you're doing something that really matters to you so that you can perform your best. So children are bringing it up. And then it's also just talked about a lot in the media, on television shows. So I think students know and children know when they feel these negative emotions or physical emotions in their body that they can seek assistance for it.
The book, My Anxiety is Messing Things Up. What age is this designed for?
It's designed for children ages 9 through 14.
It's interesting that it's a chapter book. So there's a story here, but I also noticed that you have some activities for the readers at the end. What does this guide the reader through?
So I wrote this book because I was working as a high school counselor and I ran a group for students struggling with anxiety. And we talked about coping skills. And I thought a book would be so great in an environment like that because you really are relying on the students to feel comfortable and share these heavy feelings, share situations that make them feel anxious with a group of kids. So I had some really great leaders in the group that really felt comfortable talking about how they're feeling. And then that made the other students feel comfortable talking about it. But I wrote the book because I thought how great for a school counselor or a teacher to read a chapter at a time and then talk to the kids about it. And when children read a book like this or have a book like this read to them, they can take themselves out of the situation and learn from it. So they're not talking about their own experiences or they're not forced to talk about their own experiences. It can be a bridge for them learning about coping skills, but also talking about their own struggles if they feel comfortable doing that.
How do parents know if their child is struggling with this? What could be some of the signs?
They're the main sign that I tell parents to look for is a change in your child. So parents have the most longevity of experience with their child. They often know their child the best, even of their peers and everything. So if they see their child is acting different, if their child has always wanted to go to soccer and all of a sudden now they don't want to go to soccer, or they've always been really outgoing and had no problem talking with different groups of kids, but now they're seeing it family functions or picnics or events, they're kind of standing back. That is, I would tell parents, a prompt that they should ask their child how they're feeling and what's going on, because it might not just be anxiety. It might be that they're tired or they're uncomfortable or there's certain kids they're uncomfortable with. But it is a really great opportunity to talk to your child and see what's going on with them. And then, of course, physical symptoms. So if your child complains of having a headache or stomach aches, then you can talk to them about other feelings. Like, do you feel like you have butterflies in your stomach? Are you feeling like your heart is racing? Do you feel like your hands sweat? So I would tell them to ask about these physical symptoms if they see some other unexplained symptoms. Like often children will talk about having a headache or having a stomach ache, but they don't often know to talk about feeling nervousness in their body, their heart racing fast, or having butterflies in their stomach. So I would say that's a good opportunity for parents to really ask them what's going on and just learn from your child what's going on, because it could be that they're feeling anxious and they need coping strategies. And there's so many different levels of anxiety. So I would just say to take the cue from your child so that you're learning how prevalent the anxiety is for them.
What are some great strategies for dealing with anxiety for young people?
So really great strategies are breath work. So I love breath work because you always have your breath with you. Children can do deep breathing before they do a test. They could do it in front of other kids. They can do it alone. I also think exercise is a really great coping strategy. I think journaling is a great coping strategy for students. And it doesn't have to be a long journal. It can just be jotting some notes about what happened during their day, just to get the thoughts out of their head. Another one is physical movement. So like I said, exercise, but it can also be in that stressful situation, just kind of getting some of that tension out of your body by doing, going for a quick walk, doing a couple quick jumping jacks, given the situation, making sure that it's appropriate for the situation you're in. But children can always go to the bathroom and take a little break and do some physical relation of their anxiety in their body. They could, just go for a quick walk and get some of that physical anxiety out of their body.
That's Jennifer Licati, school counselor and author of the kids' book, My Anxiety is Messing Things Up. Coming up on Total Information AM, we'll learn more about reports that Amazon could replace warehouse workers with robots. KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz will break down the reasons for sky-high prices of beef. And the Supreme Court is considering whether people who use recreational marijuana can have guns. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young will look at the arguments later on this hour. It's 8:20. Let's get the latest on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still busy out there, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Age Smart Community Resources. Eastbound 70 still bogged down. Lake St. Louis into 79. After that, it's not so bad. Southbound 79, Highway Y, I guess, between there and Ackerman. Down to North Main Street, you still got delays. Eastbound 64 still slow from 70 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. A jam right through Winghaven. Looks like could have some problems there. Boone's Crossing into 141 slow. Lindbergh all the way to 170's heavy. South 170 backs up south of Page down to the Parkway. After that, not so bad. South 270 Olive to Ladue kind of busy. Westbound 64 Hampton to Big Bend is slow. Eastbound Olive is jammed 141 all the way over to 270 almost. I think there's signal problems there at Cross Creek Drive just before you get to 270, so just be prepared. Northbound 270 Tesson Ferry up to Ladue, that's still slow. 55 still a jam. South of Rivas to River to Pear. Westbound 64 Baugh Avenue to Poplar is heavy, slow across the Musial Veterans Bridge, and eastbound 64 still jammed east of 159 past Greenmount Road. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
1 in 4 employees is also a caregiver. The CARES program connects them with expert support, helping reduce stress, boost retention, and save your business money. Learn more at hsmart.org or call 618-222-2561, serving 7 counties in Southwest Illinois.
Sunny and breezy today, a high of 65 degrees. Clear and chilly tonight. We could hit a low around 40 right now. Sunny and 46 downtown at the Arch.
It's Tom Ackerman, the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri. Genesis of St. Charles is ready for spooky season. Wickedly wonderful offers all month long in October. This month only, get 0% APR for up to 60 months on all new Genesis models in stock. Now, this offer absolutely ends on Halloween, October 31st. You want to trade? They are offering more for your pre-owned vehicle than ever before. And again, this month only, 0% APR for up to 60 months on all new Genesis models in stock on approved credit. See dealer for details. This is a luxurious vehicle, luxurious service. They take care of you with complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. Every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. Get started online at genesisofstcharles.com.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you could get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. In less than 10 years, Amazon thinks it can replace more than 500,000 jobs with robots. Odyssey's Alex Silverman spoke with Karen Wise, who wrote about it for the New York Times.
What does that actually look like inside these warehouses? What is getting replaced and what isn't?
Yeah, in the main big warehouses where Amazon picks and packs packages, there are big chunks of the work that now robots can do that involve a lot around how they move inventory, and with robotic arms that can now get better at kind of seeing what sort of inventory there is and moving that in a way that then another arm can later pick up. There are still parts of the warehouses where there are a lot of humans, but there are other parts where there's actually quite a few. It's kind of striking to walk through. There's these kind of darker sections and then these kind of more vibrant sections.
Yeah, I don't think it really surprises many people that Amazon is the company on the leading edge of this, but their internal documents talk about avoiding words like automation and robots. What does it tell you about how the company wants to frame this, and will that work?
So right now they aren't avoiding those terms, but they've debated it. And I think that just speaks to some of the kind of acknowledgement that this is kind of a precarious point for them. Their workforce has grown so much in the past 5 to 10 years. And now you're kind of reaching this change where a lot of work can be done with robotics in a way it couldn't before. So it just shows that there's an appreciation of the anxiety that this all creates for their employees and for the communities where they operate.
Yeah, I mean, if Amazon pulls this off, what kind of ripple effect could we see for the job market overall?
Amazon is at the forefront of this. So the second largest employer in the country. So they have a lot of incentive to really work on this. And that just creates more competition for other people that work in this kind of online e-commerce warehouse environment to kind of keep up. I mean, e-commerce has become a huge part of the economy. So this is why it's kind of important to look at this warehousing work. And I should say that Amazon's response to my reporting is that it doesn't reflect their overall hiring picture, which is to say that though they might get more efficiencies in some places, that can then create opportunities to make investments elsewhere.
Yeah, a lot of what we've heard about the AI story is that, it's not yet going to be able to replace a lot of the blue collar physical work because the AI plus robotics piece is a little bit farther off. But I guess this is a sign that it's, not that much farther off.
Amazon has put in so many years of developing the brains of these robots, if you will, the vision components and things like that. And only recently have they been doing this kind of next generation of a kind of generative AI with robotics. So I think I would expect to see this accelerate here. What is not clear to me is what comes next to some degree. This transformation to using more automation will create more roles for the kind of jobs that work directly with robots.
That's New York Times tech reporter Karen Wise. Coming up on Total Information AM, we're going to look at why ground beef is so expensive right now. I'll be joined by KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz. It's now 8:26. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Save big money on your kitchen update at Menards. Transform everyday spaces into gathering places with custom craft countertops from Menards. Countertops are the center of the home, and we offer stylish options with durability that will last for years to come. Check out our kitchen showrooms in-store or visit menards.com and get a pre-designed estimate today. Plus, view our weekly flyer for many other great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer: an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your traffic. So get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Save 77% on NordVPN and get 3 extra months.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
From Cardinals Nation to Chiefs Kingdom, from the zoo to Enterprise Center, St. Louis turns to the Gas House Gang for the biggest stories in sports.
The Gas House Gang on KMOX.
It's must-listen radio at noon, hosted by Tom Ackerman, Chris Ronchi, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Nicholas. 4 of the most informed and trusted voices in St. Louis sports. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM and 11:20 AM. KMOX.
It's 8:30 coming up. We're going to look at beef prices in the United States. First, though, let's see what it's like on the roads for you with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still busy, unfortunately, Megan. The traffic reports the service of Woodlands of Arnold Senior Living, northbound 270, still bogged down from Tesson Ferry all the way to Ladue. Southbound north of Olive down to Ladue is busy. Olive looks better. It's still heavy pockets. East of 141 to 270, most of the way to 270, but not jammed like it was. Eastbound Highway 70, Bryan Road into TR Hughes is slow. Southbound 79, just a shorter backup approaching North Main Street now. We have an incident on the shoulder, South 170 at the Parkway. I believe it was a crash. That's why we're backed up. In fact, there's pockets now north of Page on southbound 170. If you're coming in on eastbound 64, it's still slow. Prospect to the Boulevard around Winghaven, Chesterfield Parkway west to Timberlake, and Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, still busy. Northbound 55 still has a backup from about Revis Barracks. Not a solid jam, but Revis all the way up across river to Pear, pretty congested. 64 bought of the 70 split, and then west of 3rd Street across the bridge slow. We're still jammed eastbound 64, approaching 50 past Greenmount Road in that construction area. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's going to be a nice sunny day, a little breezy, a high of 65 degrees, clear and chilly tonight with an overnight low around 40. And then tomorrow, sunny but cool, a high only reaching 63. Right now, we have sunny skies, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. The price of beef has some of us looking at other sources of protein. What has driven it so high? Let's ask KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz, professor in the Chaffetz School of Business at St. Louis University. So, Jerry, why is the price of beef so high right now?
It's actually a perfect storm for hitting us in our pocketbooks. There are a couple things that are going on. Part of it is the Midwest and West have had a multi-year drought. I mean, we're in the midst of a drought right now, but it gets much worse the further west you go. So there's been a lot less grazing possibilities, a lot less hay. Farmers are paying sky-high prices for hay to keep their herds fed. And what that means is that the economics of cattle ranching has changed. In fact, it's so bad right now, a lot of ranchers have been selling a heifer, a female cow, for a guaranteed high price right now, or hold her back for breeding, which would mean feeding her until she gives birth and then taking those. Right now, there are a lot of farmers who are actually putting their heifers up for sale rather than try to pay for them to keep going until they can have calves. And the fact is that with the tariff situation, importing beef is a lot harder. From Mexico, it's almost impossible to import beef because they're being hit with a thing called the New World screwworm. And we don't want to import any beef that might put American herds at risk. But then Brazil, which is one of our major beef importers, got hit with tariffs of 50 to 75%. So it has been awful. And despite that, American consumers still love their steak and hamburgers.
It sounds like there's a chance that it could just continue to stay expensive, even maybe with measures to bring in beef from other countries that's been suggested by the White House.
Yes, it absolutely will, because until the drought breaks, feeding these herds are going to be tougher, are going to continue to be tougher and tougher. And even if we start getting rain, there actually will be a funny mini surge in prices, because suddenly the farmers will start holding back their heifers to get them fed and start having babies. And that's going to basically cut into the supply of beef in the short term. But if we were able to get lower priced beef from overseas, that would take care of part of the problem.
So what do consumers do next?
A lot of this is kind of obvious. Buy cheaper cuts of meat, chuck roast, beef brisket, eye round, flank steak, that sort of thing. Figure you're going to do more braising, stewing, slow roasting. Think about buying in bulk. Keep an eye out for sales. A lot of manager special sales for meat, for beef, is beef that is close to its expiration date. So you go in, buy it, cook it, freeze it. That's kind of how you go that. And think about switching to other kinds of meat. Beef has gone up like 14% in the past year. But if we're talking chicken, it's about 1.7%. Other things have been about 1.4%. So it's beef that's been facing a price surge. There's still plenty of reasonable alternatives out there.
That is KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz. Still ahead on Total Information AM. Who could pick a new St. Louis City sheriff? We're going to talk about that with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
8:36, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Monica Ricks.
Stocks are struggling for direction this morning as earnings reports and company news provide a mixed picture of corporate profitability amid trade worries and geopolitical risks. Gold and silver have also extended declines after a bit of a slump. DraftKings is looking to expand beyond sports betting and capitalize on demand for wagering on future events. The company bought Railbird Technologies, and DraftKings says it plans to use the platform to launch DraftKings Predictions, where users will be able to trade bets on the outcomes of events in finance, culture, and entertainment. No word on how much DraftKings paid for Railbird. And President Trump pushed Coca-Cola to make Coke using U.S. cane sugar, but the company says it's having trouble getting its hands on enough sugar to ramp up production in glass bottles, similar to Mexican Coke. So it plans to roll out a limited supply in a few markets before scaling up heading into the new year. Cane sugar accounts for roughly 30% of the nation's sugar supply. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
This special alert is for all Americans who own a vehicle. If you have a warranty that's about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, this message is for you. It's time to stop worrying about future car repairs today. Your vehicle is essential, but unexpected breakdowns can derail your plans and your wallet. It's time to future-proof your ride with CarShield. CarShield offers a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that saves drivers thousands from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine if your engine quits or your transmission fails. You could pay a fraction of the repair cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, and to give you even more peace of mind, drivers who activate today also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Don't wait for a breakdown to drain your savings. Future-proof your car with CarShield today and drive with confidence. Call CarShield for your free quick quote. Call 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. What do you have to lose? Call 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. Again, 800-908-8646.
Barnett, board certified master arborist and owner at Timberline Professional Tree Care. Sorry, St. Louis, this message is for our friends in the Metro East. Did you know that most Missouri-based tree contractors can't legally travel into Illinois? This is due to federal motor carrier regulations that require large trucks and their drivers to be registered with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration in order to travel across state lines. Almost all other tree services in Missouri fail to meet the requirements for safety, drug and alcohol testing, and equipment maintenance that are required for interstate travel. Here at Timberline, we meet and exceed all of these requirements and will be glad to travel across the river to meet all of your tree care needs. Call us today at 636-479-7475 for tree fertilization, pruning, insect and disease treatment, or complete removal. Or visit our website at stltreecare.com. That's stltreecare.com for service in the Metro East area.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129. Take 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the huge savings.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe says the state will try to work with ICL to get a planned battery plant in North St. Louis back on track after the loss of a federal grant. Police in the Metro East getting a share of state funding for an auto theft task force. And St. Louis-based Stifel Financial sees an increase in net revenues, $1.4 billion for the third quarter, compared with $1.2 billion a year ago. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Oh, still busy highways out there, Megan. This traffic reports a service of Metro Transit. If you're on northbound 270, it's still bogged down. I guess we'll call it approaching Gravois to Ladue. South 270 approaching Olive down to Ladue. That's still busy. If you're on eastbound 64, still some heavy traffic through the Chesterfield Parkways and Lindbergh through the Interbelt. The Interbelt's doing better, but there's still some pockets, Page, down through about Ladue, and then it's better. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, that's still slow. Eastbound Olive, let's call it right around Fifi, most of the way to 270. Still pretty congested there. Northbound 55, you still got heavy traffic backing up from the Union Road overpass most of the way to Virginia. Westbound 64 downtown, west of 3rd Street to the Poplar, slow. And eastbound 64 is still jammed, approaching 50 through Greenmount Road due to that road work that goes over almost to 158. And westbound 70, some slow stuff, Riverview out through Jennings Station. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
Looks like autumn has arrived, and all fall long, a Metro Transit Day Pass is still just $5, which makes you just one click away from your one-day mental health fall getaway. Plan your trip at metrostlouis.org.
I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM this morning here on KMOX. When a city official gets in legal hot water, who gets to name a replacement? Let's talk it over with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris, Young & Kaiser. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Megan.
So we're talking about St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery. He's currently jailed on charges of witness retaliation and witness tampering. First, I think we have to ask, what's his legal status as sheriff right now?
Well, right now, he is still the acting as sheriff for the city of St. Louis. One of the judges in his quo warranto action has been asked on multiple occasions to remove him from office. That has not happened. And so until he proceeds to trial on November 18 on this quo warranto, which is a legal mechanism by which elected officials are removed from office, until that moves forward for a trial, he is still the sheriff of St. Louis, even though he's currently incarcerated.
So depending on that and whether, he resigns possibly as he's been called on to do, is there any ordinance or statute that governs who would name his replacement?
Wow, that's an amazing question, Megan, because the answer is we don't really know. And let me quickly break this down, because generally speaking, vacancies for the office of sheriff are governed by state law. But it says that if the sheriff's office is vacant, then that vacancy shall be filled by a county commission. Well, St. Louis City is not in a county. And so there is no county commission. The closest thing we have to that would be the Board of Aldermen, but that's not what the statute says. We've had recently the governor's office has said that he has the power to appoint a replacement, but specifically under state law, it allows the governor to fill all vacancies of elected officials when they're vacant, except for the sheriff. It's specifically listed in the statute as being an exception to that power. So there is a question. I think ultimately, if the courts have to step in, if the three entities, meaning the governor, the mayor, and the Board of Aldermen, can't agree on who has that power, I think the courts would give that to the Board of Aldermen, because that's the closest thing there is to a county commission in the city of St. Louis.
Could aldermen pass something within the next few weeks, for example, that would apply in this case?
I believe that they could. And in fact, one of the things that's happened recently, a few months ago, was that the Board of Aldermen actually passed an ordinance changing the duties, the legal specified duties of the sheriff's office to include the transportation of prisoners from jail to hospitals, which was the big bone of contention from Sheriff Montgomery. He's challenging that, but it's clear legally that the Board of Aldermen, they do have the power to add or change or to alter the legal structure of the sheriff's office.
Now, you mentioned Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway asking for Montgomery to be removed from office. Would she have a say in any potential replacement?
Her statement has been that the governor's office has that power, not the attorney general's office. But again, under statute, the sheriff's office vacancies is specifically listed as an office that the governor cannot fill. So that's why there's this gap, statutory gap here. And in the absence of that gap, there is a lot of ambiguity here, and the courts would have to step in if those three entities cannot agree on who has the power to appoint a new sheriff in the event that becomes necessary.
And I guess we do have to point out his legal status is still in limbo. St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery has been accused of crimes, but he is innocent until proven guilty.
Absolutely. And he is currently incarcerated, but it is anticipated that he will certainly be out of prison, at least for the purpose of moving forward with that quo warranto action on November 18.
Let's look at some national news, Brad. The Supreme Court said Monday that it will consider whether people who regularly smoke marijuana or use recreational marijuana can legally own guns. What are the facts of the case before the High Court?
Well, the facts of the case here are much similar to what we saw with Hunter Biden recently, because there's a federal statute that specifically states that possession of firearms by any person who is, quote, an unlawful user of or addicted to any controlled substance, unquote, they're ineligible to own or possess or buy a firearm. So the question becomes, can a statute like this override the Second Amendment, which is a constitutional protection of owning firearms? And this is a question the court hasn't dealt with before. And so the issue is going to be for folks who have not been convicted of any crime. For example, if felons are convicted of felonies, they can't own firearms, but they've been convicted of something. But this statute doesn't require conviction, just habitual use. It also raises the question, what does illegal mean? Under Missouri or Illinois law, people can use marijuana, but not under federal law. So lots of questions that hopefully the court will sort through.
Yeah, what does habitual mean?
Yeah, we don't even know what habitual means. And there's a constitutional principle that says if a statute is ambiguous, then it cannot be enforced. And habitual is certainly ambiguous. And it also sets up the other issues about state versus federal laws that also need to be addressed.
That is Brad Young, KMOX legal analyst and partner at Harris, Young and Kaiser. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Brad.
My pleasure, Megan.
Coming up on Total Information AM before we end this hour, a new designation on Missouri driver's license could protect individuals who stutter. We'll find out more about that next.
It's easy to feel apprehensive about getting screened for cancer or to just keep putting it off. But Siteman Cancer Center wants to remind you how important it is, especially after the age of 40. And they also want you to know how easy it is to get it done. GetScreenedNow.com has all the information you need on cancers like prostate, breast, colon, lung cancer. You can also find out your risk of disease by answering just a few simple questions. And then you can find one of the hundreds of screening locations in the area. Even if you're a little farther out, there is probably a place near you. You have heard this before, but catching cancer early dramatically increases the odds of a successful treatment, especially with so many cancers showing up earlier in life. So do not be intimidated. Siteman will make the process as simple as possible. GetScreenedNow.com. Do it for your family and friends who count on you. Do it for yourself. Visit GetScreenedNow.com.
For residential and commercial heating repairs, service, maintenance, or installation, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. With over 50 years of HVAC service, get in your comfort zone this winter. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
KMOX proudly supports the Mutual Awards, returning to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 22nd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event, hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Mutual Awards an event like no other. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
A new designation on Missouri driver's license could protect individuals who stutter when they interact with law enforcement or other first responders. I learned more about that from Christine Rose, a speech-language pathologist at St. Louis University, and Jamie Saunders Anglin, an alumna of SLU's School of Social Work and a mother of a person who stutters.
In the spring of 24, I was trying to obtain a state ID for my daughter. And as a result, I asked the lady, could she put a notification on the driver, on the ID to let, police or EMTs or whoever know that she was a person who stutters. So she went through the list. She kept looking and looking and looking. And she said, we have everything on here except for stuttering or verbal diversity. I was like, well, when I get back for her, when she starts to drive at 16, you will have one on there. And I came home, got on the computer, sent out a few emails, and got some responses back, and went on from there.
What were your concerns?
Well, my concern was that they would think she was intoxicated. I've noticed when she speaks or is in the middle of a block, or she looks away and looks down. So I didn't want the police officer to think that she was being disrespectful in any way.
Christine, I'm curious from your perspective, is this a fairly common concern for individuals and families?
I had never really considered it. In the past, some of the stuttering organizations have created a card that people who stutter can present to people during a traffic stop or first responders. But that in itself can be kind of alarming when they're looking for their card and things like that. They're reaching down, looking through their wallet. They're already in a moment of like high alert. And so this was the first moment where Jamie thought, wait, we should stop that right from the very beginning, that the first responder would know automatically that this is a person who stutters and know how the interaction might go. And what I think is so powerful about it is it's not just for people who stutter, it's people who have all sorts of communication differences. So Jamie's a social worker, so she pulled in her social work lens and realized that, wait, this could really apply to people who've had a stroke, people who've had Parkinson's, people with a traumatic brain injury, people with a developmental speech delay, anybody who communicates differently or needs a little extra time while they're communicating could benefit from this. So it's been on the radar that this is an important piece, but it's innovative in that Jamie really kind of thought, wait, let's do it at the driver's license level, where before that initial interaction, so the person doesn't have to search through their wallet for their card or something like that.
How does it show up on the license now?
The state worked really hard to fit in. It's a little red medical insignia. And then it says the word speech impair. I don't want to speak for Jamie, but we kind of bristle when we hear that word impair, because stuttering is genetic in nature. It's really based on neurology and differences in neurology. So it's really a verbal diversity. And my profession as a speech pathologist is really thankfully changing the tide from trying to fix a person who stutters to trying to support their ease of communication. And so that word impair needs to be on there for like just practicality, but it's still, when I write it in emails and things, I put in quotes like speech impair, but that's how it shows up.
Jamie, talk about the process of making this happen.
Well, actually, it was fairly simple, which I thought at first, I initially thought it had to be brought through the legislation in Jefferson City. That was my first thought. Then, as more and more people responded to my initial email, I found out that Misha, Missouri, yes,
Speech Language Hearing Association.
There you go. I always get those acronyms messed up. Thank goodness I got Chris to help me. So when they got involved, they got their lobbyist involved. And so through the research, he found out, hey, we don't have to go through Jefferson City. This is not a bill. This is not anything. The driver's license, the Department of Revenue already has a list of disabilities. What we're going to do is add this to the list. So that took some time, but I'm proud to say that it happened 8 days after my daughter's 16th birthday. I can't wait for her to get her driver's license. So she will probably be the first in Missouri to obtain a little insignia on her ID.
That is Jamie Saunders Anglin, an alumna of SLU's School of Social Work and mother of a person who stutters, along with Christine Rose, a speech language pathologist at St. Louis University. And to add the notation, you have to submit a physician's statement verifying the diagnosis to the Missouri Department of Revenue. There is no additional fee for adding that to your driver's license.
On the show today, we'll talk to Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski on how the government shutdown is affecting some of us here locally, and the midday midlife. Does Gen Z wish they were living more like Gen X? We're going to find out. We'll talk about all that and more on the Chris and Damie Show right after the news on KMOX.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us. And we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank and Building Community, proudly recognizing the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County. Known as CASTLE, the agency is one of a network of community action agencies coming together to transition people out of poverty towards self-sufficiency. CASTLE serves 44,000 people in St. Louis County every year. Learn more about the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County at CAASTLC.org. That's CAASTLC.org.
This is Blake Trevunza, Commercial Relationship Manager at Busey. The Community Action Agency of St. Louis County, also known as CASTLE, helps people move from crisis to stability. With housing, food, health, legal aid, education, and more, CASTLE empowers families to break the cycle of poverty. Take action yourself and find out more